Oh my God.
And we're back. All right, everybody. Welcome to the season 5 of Hypnotic Big Brother cast assessment. I'm Alex. That's Heather. That's Jacob. That's Liz. And we are your prod team.
Wait. So sorry. My tab
Yay.
is small, so we're all just in like this row. So you
Oh, so
pointing
me
at us,
pointing did nothing? Cool.
I,
Okay.
no, for
Yeah, you just
me,
pointed to Heather's
probably you're
boy.
correct. You're probably right. You're probably correct.
We'll
But
see how
just
it
like,
looks when the recording's done.
yeah.
Okay,
I
Oof,
hope it looks
so
nothing like that.
Okay, so if you are watching this right now, that means that season 5 is over. It has been completed, but as of right now, it is the morning before the cast is going to be revealed later
Morning
tonight.
of.
It's the morning of the morning. The cast has not even been revealed yet. It's like we got 9 hours until that happens. So we have no idea what's going to happen this season, how people are going to play and everything. But we have our cast. We are going to look at each person and, guess how they're going to play, how well they're going to do, all that good stuff. And we'll see how it goes. Also, we are implementing a new rule here because our previous cast assessments have been quite long. We are a very yappy prod team. So we are, and this is no disrespect to the season 5 cast. This is just so we can have some order here. We are going to dedicate 5 minutes to each person, and then we're going to move on so that we're not here for 3 hours. All right. With that being said, I will share my screen. Okay. There's that. Should I put this in full screen, or do you think we're just good like that?
sure, you should do it. Put full screen.
I said, but okay.
Sure.
Yeah, do full screen, make it pretty.
Sideshow. Okay,
Yippee!
did that work?
That's
It should.
us.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's us. None of us are playing.
I did
So
have
one of us has played before, to be fair.
Well, yeah, one of us has played before.
Yeah.
I had a dream like someone dropped and then y'all forced me to play and I had anxiety.
And I
Mind you, you know like all the comps and the twists and the whole cast.
The actor's nightmare of orgs.
well, also because I told her I was like, if we had to have a prod member play, you would be the last person that we would say, "Hey, you should play."
I want to imagine the season where someone drops and we somehow run through the ranks and it ends up being that Alex has to play. What would that look? You would just run it from the house, I think, is what would happen.
All right, we're good. We're doing this comp. I win. Okay. All right. Are we ready to get started here?
We're ready to not go for 5 minutes about the first person we have
That's
because
Hell yeah.
we'll
that,
definitely exceed it. I have a feeling.
right. And that's
Some
because
of
the
us
first
do.
person we have on our cast is Aaliyah.
Yay.
Jacob, kick it off.
Oh, you want me to start? Oh no, I gotta close. I gotta end it.
Okay, so we had
I
Aaliyah.
gotta gather my thoughts.
What's up?
I'm just saying I'm gathering my thoughts.
So we had Aaliyah
Okay.
play in our crossover mini that we
Yeah.
did with Spellbound. Um, didn't do as well as we were hoping for, but I think that's because they got sniped out pretty early on. I think because they were a threat. From what I've heard from Aaliyah, very good at the social game, very good at making people like them and trust them and all that. And from what I can tell, this is a pretty social cast. A cast that's going to do well, less based on like the comp abilities of any like one particular person, and more so on just like the alliances that are made. And I feel like if Aaliyah is able to integrate into those groups, then I think we'll go pretty far. No question about that.
Yeah, I'm looking through her answers
Hmm.
for the interviews that we have for everybody. Um, And I do like her answer for the hero versus villain question, because she was like, I don't like this question because it's kind of like a white lies, like here and there kind of thing. Um, Kind of leans more towards villain, which I feel like there might not be as I I feel like there might be a few villains this season, but like I think that if she is able to kind of like get away with the white lie, she could kind of go more that route. But still be seen as like more of like a hero-esque villain um, from everything.
I feel like people will start playing like heroes and then get because we have some stuff planned that's going to make people not trust each other.
Yeah.
So if she doesn't start like that, then she should already be ahead of people.
Yeah.
Yippee. Um, I'm mostly going off of vibes for a lot of this, just because I think it's fun to have wildly out there left field guesses that sometimes can kind of come close and other times are completely wrong at the end of the season. I feel like I could see her just with that like social leaning, game that she was talking about, being involved in multiple alliances, pretty successfully and kind of going between them fairly well. I would love to see her kind of double crossing people just because I think that would be a lot of fun, especially with the theme of this particular um season. Also because, in the mini and actually in Unplugged, if I remember correctly, I remember having a very good feeling from her, just like getting good vibes, and I think that if I'm getting that, so there's a good chance the other house guests will. So I think it'll be really fun to see her kind of use that to her advantage in the sense of playing a little more villainously. Even if it's like a nice leaning villain.
She'll call people out on their bullshit.
Yeah.
She will indeed call people on their bullshit. Let me read what I have prepared here.
Prepared,
Um,
oh man.
Prepared
so,
statement from Jacob.
hmm, I love her very much. Love, 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 love. How many loves did I write here actually? Um, so I last season my winner pick was like the second or third person, so it's only fitting that the first person we talk about this season is my winner pick. No, I'm not at gunpoint. Yes, I am safe. No, I was not paid to say this.
Oh my god.
Love, 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 love type shit. So I've
Shit.
hosted her during her first game. She got rocked out at ninth in Kaleidoscope, and obviously followed every game she's played closely ever since. Um, the one thing that has given her trouble every time, because I think she's a jack of all trades player. I think great socially, strategically, and physically. And she mentions this as part of her question when asked which is she best at, is that she has this alluring personality, and when that doesn't work, she can lean on the comps. She may or may not have had to lean on comps in some of these past games, and the main issue she runs into coming into the end game is threat management. We talk a lot about like jury management of like, oh, like I think like Jay last season like pissed off a lot of people on the jury, and that played a factor into his struggle at final two. Hers is not that. She had tons of win equity. The problem is everyone knew she had tons of win equity. She had to win a bunch of challenges to get to the end. She have to employ some of these under the belt strategies to try to keep herself in the game. And I do think that this could be as late as Final Four, where I think her just winning out, quote unquote, it's barely fucking winning out at this point. Because why aren't you winning comps at 4 and 3 to get to the end to make sure that who you need to get out gets out? I could see it being as late as that, but I could see this as early as just a hunch, like final 8, final 7, like right before everyone starts competing in veto, the last possible opportunity for people to technically get backdoored. People may want to seize that opportunity for Leah because I don't think she's played a game where she hasn't had an individual win under her belt. So I suspect her to win something. She did really good in Bodo. Obviously, I know she can go really far. But speaking of Bodo, she's currently playing that, and she insists that this will take precedence.
We have a lot of
So
people playing Bodo.
we have a lot of people, but at least she's the only one to actively acknowledge, like, hey, this will be more important than that because there's less people that she needs to talk to here.
Yeah, if she
This
has
is
accountabilities and is focusing on that, should be good. Yeah.
so I have high expectations for her,
Mhm.
naturally.
Okay, I'm gonna take 1 second. I'll edit this out when we upload it.
Okay.
My Discord is here, and I don't want to.
Whoa. When you showed up your Discord, was
Eh,
that Alliance and
Quick,
Bodo without
quick,
me
steal
in
his
it the next
identity.
time?
Eternal Night something. I don't know
no.
what that is.
Oh, you're in the. Oh my God, where the hell?
Vampire
Give
counterpoint.
me a
Oh,
second. Oh my God. There we
I'm
go.
just gonna read things off your screen till you get mad.
I like how you said, "Is that an alliance without me?" And it's literally,
It was, I think, Fred's
it's
project.
Fred's project. Okay,
Yeah. I'll
recover.
edit that out.
Yeah. Recover, and we're back. Sorry about that. Moving on to our next player, and our next player is your boy Cam. All right, I've played with Cam twice, and he has won twice.
Oh shit.
And they were the same game. We let this man win the same game twice. uh, okay, no. Cam is really good at playing the like, man, I'm just here for the vibes. I'm not trying to take this too seriously, sort of thing. And then like in the background, he's 100% taking this seriously, but just like really, really low key. Um, I'm trying to think. Honestly, like in a similar-ish way that Danny played last season, where like very under the radar, not really taken seriously as like this huge threat, like everyone, like a bunch of other players were in the game. But then, and so then towards the end, they're like, "Yeah, we can bring Danny to the end," and then Danny ended up winning. I could see that happening with Cam. It really just depends on how seriously um he takes things and how much of like a chaos demon he wants to be. Because he could be a chaos demon if he wants to be, but we'll see how that ends up working.
Well, I think all of us also know. I mean, except Liz, all of us know Cam also very well outside of games like Met Cam and everything.
He's also the host of Pain Brother,
Also the host of Pain Brother,
which means he could inflict some pain on these people.
Brother.
Pain on these brothers. God damn.
One thing I like that he did say in his interview is, where is it? I don't know how to shut the fuck up in games. So I feel like that can be a good thing and a bad thing. So if it's the case of, I know this is going to be a very social cast, so I feel like they're going to appreciate someone who is as talkative as a lot of the cast is. So I feel like that's going to work well for Cam. However, if it's the case of not being able to shut the fuck up about certain things of information, and especially with some of the twists that we do have this season,
Oh yeah, I don't think this twist is gonna work well with him.
I feel like it might bite him in the ass, and I don't feel like he'll get out early,
Yeah.
but I kind of see like something happening maybe like towards like the like mid jury area where people are just like fed up with like getting that like
You know what?
a lot of stuff happening.
You know, I'm
there.
gonna make a call now. I think he's gonna be a live night casualty.
Oh.
We have 2 live nights. I feel like he's gonna get out on one of them. If he doesn't, then like kudos. But that's my hot take here.
I could totally see that. Yeah. Um, as has been pointed out, I think I'm the only prod member who does not personally know him. I love his vibes. Like I remember seeing the picture that he submitted, like this picture in the chat, and immediately going, "Oh, he's gonna be really fun to watch."
He is
He
fun.
does come up. I love a yapper who can't shut the fuck up because in real life I can never shut the fuck up. And I also think that can be really easy to play with in a social cast, but as has been said, can really get you in trouble. I myself have yapped myself into corners. So I think that'll be fun to kind of observe. Um, I could see Cam almost occupying like an equal and opposite role to like Aaliyah, where like I could see them both going between a lot of different alliances a lot, um, in different ways. But I do think it'll get Cam into trouble before it'll get her into trouble. That's it. Vibes alone. I'm excited to watch this happen.
Hell yeah.
uh, adore Cam. I'm playing currently with Cam in Paradox. And no, he has not won every game that I've played with him. It's 50-50. It was both still the same series. It was the one season he didn't win. So it's a 50-50 chance. Maybe he wins this, maybe he doesn't. But obviously love the guy. He's one of my, if not my closest allies here in that game. And that is probably my only concern with Cam. It's that right now we're at Final Nine. It's day 34 or something like that. And there's still plenty of game left to go. I don't want him to get exhausted or to have to split his time up, especially in a game that's heading into the end game and he hasn't been nominated yet. But because of how well he's been doing over there, I think that also can be a indication of how well he can do in this game. I was sleeping on Cam during Distortion All Stars, and
All were.
I hosted him in Spellbound where he got sniped. First idol, successful idol play. He gets out at eighth. He was the front runner to win the whole thing all the way up until that point. So I definitely think that socially, obviously, he's going to do really well. Like when he says, "Oh, I can't shut the fuck up," I take that as him just being a very social guy and loving to hold conversations with people. I know that he mentioned in his little fucking prod chat that he checked the server to see who's on the cast,
Absolute nerd.
and which is real because I'd be doing the same thing too.
No,
And
no,
he's
no,
like,
I
this,
totally agree.
Someone
and
else
he says,
later also did the same.
Right.
but like he didn't give us a cast list like that person did. That other try hard. And Cam says he's gonna despise this cast, so I want to see how well he actually does in spite of all that. I
He
think that,
won't talk to anyone because he hates them so much.
but all things considered, regardless of how far he goes, respect to this dude. He did something for his action shot, and he had been trying to wash the fake blood off of his hands over
That's
the course of
really
two
true.
days. It took him 2 days to get
I
all that
totally
off.
forgot about
I
that. That's
fully
so
respect him
good.
for
I don't know if
committing
it's
to the
off at this
bit.
point.
Some say it's still on to this
There we go.
day.
Yeah.
End of season, he's gonna hold his hands up in jury, and they're still gonna be stained red.
Is that a metaphor for all the blood that Cam is gonna get on his
Word,
hands?
because he's a villain. And here's the thing, because most people that are villains, I think, are very showboaty and are very out in front and do things publicly that make them villains. Like every villain we've had up until this point, Sean, Nick, Morgan, Hayden, had moments where there's face to face. They're being villainous. Maybe they're being a little cocky.
They don't realize
Maybe
They
they're
they're
monologued.
down.
Morgan monologued.
exactly. Cam's not that type of villain. Cam is the guy who and everyone loves. You get to have a personal connection with him, get endeared to him, you laugh at his jokes, and then the second you hang up, it he's laughing. He's laughing. He's already planning your
Yeah, he's
demise. Like
giggling as well.
he's a sneak he's a smarter villain, basically. So I do think that this is a potentially a good storm for him.
If he
I
gets
have high hopes for Cam
If
as
he,
well.
I will say, if he gets the killer role, I could see him like taking out his number one ally just to get a little something something. Okay,
That would be fun.
that's Cam. That's Cam. Move on to our next player, Danny. I don't know why I just flashed like that. I don't know if I saw that. Okay, so I'll be real. I don't know too much about Danny. That being said, what I do know is that they were in final two of Distortion, right? Did I have that right? Final two of Distortion, and they lost by one vote. So clearly they're doing something right. And I think they won the last immunity challenge too, if I understand correctly. So you don't get four, you don't get four votes in the end without having a good strategic and social game, and to win the final immunity comp as well. I think paints her as a pretty well-rounded person. I don't know if um, she's gonna like come into the game. People are gonna be like, oh my god, that's the person that almost won distortion. Like just now, like just recently, we got to get her out right away, or if she's going to be able to ingratiate herself in everything that's going on. But I do think she'll be able to, like, become people's best friends, like make them feel comfortable, hopefully backstab them later, just because that would be fun from our end. But yeah, she's high on my list for like most interested to see how they play.
So she does say that she is more of a physical player than like social strategic
Oh,
and
okay.
everything. Um, and with this being a very social cast, that can be uh, actually something that I feel like might help her in certain ways in a way. Because if a lot of this cast is more social and they're unable to like win the comps that they need to have any sort of power in the game, they want someone that can be that comp threat, can be that shield, can be able to do certain things. Um, she also does say she struggles with connecting right away, and they lose interest in like talking to people over time. But
Oh, right.
they do enjoy talking to people that they do end up connecting with. So that is something that I think they won't struggle with the social part, but I do see them ending up possibly being some sort of comp threat if they're going to be like more of the physical player than anything else. Um, but I am interested to see because I feel like not a lot of people say physical first,
Yeah,
and
that's
I do
really
like
rough.
a physical first kind of person.
Yeah. I was actually also just gonna say because I peeked at some of the responses. I know I said I was going off of vibe, but I don't want to be completely incapable of doing this. But I peeked at some of the responses during the interview. I'm kind of with Heather. I could see her, especially with this cast, coming out as more of like a comp beast, or at least kind of like comping her way through a lot of tight spots. And I think that kind of this like not here for the drama, here to make good moves and not necessarily make a million friends is going to be a really cool personality to see amongst everyone playing very socially and very like villainously. Like I think one of her responses was that like she doesn't intentionally play villainously, but her moves tend to be villainous. And I think that could be really cool in this particular genre of game
Genre.
genre for the theme.
If I had a nickel for every time that this season that we've talked about someone who came in final two in distortion and lost by one vote, I'd have two nickels.
I
Two
mean,
two both of them. They're back to back finalists. They both
we'll
that
talk later.
yeah, okay, yeah, point being,
Keep explaining, it'll get funnier.
okay, so her and Aaliyah may link up. The hee hee ha ha's. We're distortion runners up. Like that'd
Oh,
be it.
okay.
Because they both 5'4", whatever the fuck. But genuinely though, I'm really excited to see Danny play. She was one of the favorite interviews that I had done. And I've seen a lot of mixed reception as to how people feel about winning the first HOH, being the first to win a competition. Some players, given their strategy, may not want to make enemies right off the bat, may not want to make any waves, would not want to demonstrate any physical prowess. Danny, though, I think she would be the type to gun for an HOH first. And I think that could be a lot of good for her because if you play your cards right week one, you set yourself up really well and you kind of like drift as the game goes on because you're the first person to tell a bunch of people, and best case scenario, you tell 14 people or 13 people. When I'm in power, you're safe with me. You're good. So I think Danny can really benefit socially from that, from just the fact that she's keeping all these people safe. My fear, though, obviously, I do think that she's a really good and proven competitor. I went back to Distortion to see how many individual immunities she won. She won three.
Ooh.
I want to say maybe there was a fourth win in there. I don't recall because I know that she won the HOH during the Big Brother round, but I don't know if she
Nice.
won
Okay.
veto. It doesn't have that on there. Um, but I do fear that she may be used as someone or maybe a group's weapon. I could see her kind of being included into the alliance. I think being pivotal and crucial in making those decisions, but is going to be the least socially connected or endeared to of that group. So she may struggle with winning a jury vote, or she is in that group solely due to their comp prowess.
Yeah.
Like, oh, she's winning a bunch of shit. Let's just bring her into the fold so that when she does win stuff, she keeps all of us safe. That is my concern for her. I do think that she has obviously this great personality. I think that she can endear herself to a lot of people within the core. From what I remember in Trials of Raw, her tribe ran the show. So for her to have not for her to say, "Oh, I'm not as good socially and strategically," and yet still position herself to make it to the end.
Yeah, she's
That's
got
better.
something.
Clearly she's done something right. So and she won Hero in 1984, so and done decently well there. I think she got like seventh, sixth, I think. So
She could be a hard hitter for sure.
I have, everyone I said, oh, I have high hopes for them. So it's just like,
I hope the entire cast. But yeah.
yeah, really, it's just, yeah, high expectations. Yeah.
All right. And let's move on to our next player, your boy Dex. First of all, I love this photo. I think he's trying to be Wolverine, but like, or Edward Scissorhands. I don't know how much of the theme it is, but like, I love the dedication. So it's all good. All right. So I met Dex when I randomly decided to play one of Roberto's mini games, and I think since then, I've sort of like dragged him over to the Discord side of things because I've seen him play a couple other games. He played in the Spellbound Hypnotic Mini before, which I think that suits his style a little bit more because I've only really seen him play minis or shorter games. I know he played, I want to say Distortion, um, where I pretty sure he was like a relatively early boot. Um, and I was kind of surprised with that because he's really easy to talk to. He's really easy to like make friends with people. I feel like his one downfall that usually is he won't take the game as seriously as everyone else. And that's not to say like he'll get like bored with the game. It's like it's more of like a vibey thing for him. But like, man, I'm just here to have fun, like that kind of thing, as opposed to everyone else, like constantly talking and strategizing and doing all that. He's like, man, let's just have a good time. um, and like we were saying before, this does feel like a very social cast. I worry that he's going to get um, left behind in the shuffle a little bit. If he is able to keep up with people, I feel like he'll make a decently far run in everything.
Yeah. So I did not see Dex's interview. So
I think I did.
I don't know if anybody who did wants to elaborate on the hero villain answer where he said
I think I did his. Okay, so it was okay. So I think he was saying that in more of a like, if he had to lean one way or the other, it would be hero. But at the same time, like you can't like. I think he had one of the most realistic answers, and like you can't be heroic the entire time. Like you're gonna have to cut people at some point, and when that happens, that's not really like heroic of you or anything like that. So I think that's what he was um talking about. Yeah, yeah. He said even heroes have to make tough decisions that are villainous. So I think he's at least aware of how people perceive him, which should definitely help him if he makes it further in the game.
It also says loyal to the soil.
Yeah,
So
he is.
I think that's going to be an interesting thing with like seeing how loyalty is tested, specifically with a lot of things that might be coming up with this. So
There we go. Um, yeah, I also was a little thrown off by that villainous heroic answer, but I kind of like it now that I get it. I think that kind of, you know, sort of almost no nonsense heroic sort of energy could be interesting here. Um, I do always enjoy someone who's here for the bits and the fun. He mentions in the interview responses that he'll bring the laughs, and that's always my favorite part. I love a good funny haha type player. I can see where it'll definitely be a little bit of a disadvantage if people think he's not taking it too seriously, but if he can walk that line, I can see him actually going pretty far. Because, if you can keep the tone light, people generally want to keep you around, I think. So I could see that working in his favor.
If there's like giant house fights, he's not getting involved in that, and then he's gonna stay as those people go after
Yeah. Like
him.
he can be kind of like the guy who sort of is like, anyway, and it brings up like a bit or something and is able to diffuse the tension.
Mm,
As long as people think he's taking it seriously.
yeah.
Yeah, so he was also somebody on the cast of Paradox not too long ago.
Mm.
A lot of murmurings of him deliberately voting in the minority just to bring good TV, and doing other things to stir up the pot, just for fun, just for the meme of it all, just for the lulz. And do not know if that's exactly going to be his strategy here or whether or not that's true. Obviously, that could be a lie. But I had a fun time while Dex was still there. He was also a relatively early boot, due to someone walking. He's the first juror. He's the Vic. He was voted pre-jury, but due to circumstances, ended up taking her spot in jury, or taking someone else's spot in jury, like
Yeah,
Vicky
yeah,
did last season. And didn't go too far in distortion. So obviously that spells a little bit of worry for me, but I don't know. I think he could be a sleeper pick. I think that if people are very caught up on some other because people are going to end up being the killers during this game. So naturally, there's going to be a lot of mistrust and worry. Like, did we send out somebody? Did we hand someone a power by doing this? And I think depending on if Dex has that role or not, I think he kind of like hide in the shadows for a little bit, endear himself to some people because he is a funny guy. We had an alliance called the Pendulum Swingers, and my naive self thought, oh, it's because like the pendulum of power will swing back and forth, and we'll be able to. No, no, no. It's because we have schlongs. That was an innuendo. It
That's
took me an embarrassingly long time. It took me like I think 3 rounds to figure that out. But I hope he does well. Honestly, I think he's a very entertaining guy. I think he's a really chill dude. The occasion calls for it.
I will say I
But
feel like if he gets the killer role, um, the house is gonna explode.
oh boy.
I don't know. It's like I think he could be a chill dude. He could make it super far with that strategy. I also think he can blow stuff up if he feels so inclined.
Yeah, we're
Because
gonna.
I don't think he will shy away from those confrontations. Do I think if two other people are fighting, will he get involved? No, because he loves drama. He's eating it up. He's it's like the best day of his life. But I do think that I don't know. It's like high risk, high reward. I think he can go out really early. I think he could flame out in glorious fashion. But I also think he could be a dark horse who kind of sneaks his way to six, and we're just like, how the hell did Dex get here?
Right, right.
I don't know. I don't know which world we're living in, but I think we're living in one of those.
Yeah, we'll see.
Can I add real fast? Schlong, easy top three synonym for a dick to me, personally.
What are the top three? Get
Definitely schlong, hog, And I think meat has some very funny applications.
Okay, great.
Arg.
I'm glad that's how we're ending Dex's
Hog.
section here.
Dex will give us his top three. Once the season
I hope
starts up.
so. That'd be great.
Fuck yes.
Period.
Anyway, we move.
But speaking of meat, we move on to
Fred?
our next person.
What?
I don't know. That again, the segues. First hypnotic season 5 segue.
Oh,
Speaking of
okay.
meat,
This is your dumb little
this is
okay.
my bit. Do we want to go in the same order we've always been going in, or?
You can start.
So Fred, I've been meaning to host this guy for a while. I've known him for quite some time. Dates Julia Rowe, one of my close friends. So, but I heard of him from the game that they first met. His father won. Kind of plays a little bit on the Facebook side of things, a little bit on this side of things. I had played with him once, which is where he was infamously at a Renaissance concert. It has been memed on ever since because he was playing CTC and just start. Oh yeah, I don't know about that story, so irrelevant. But
Talk later. Yeah.
we'll
Is he
talk
the
about
guy
this
from
later.
that picture, or is that a different guy?
The guy from that picture.
From that,
The one that
no,
people
no,
keep sending
no,
in the chat
no,
where it's
no.
like he's kissing someone but looking at
No, no, no,
the.
no,
Oh, it's a
no,
different
no.
guy.
That's not
Okay.
Fred.
Oh
That's
no
not
no no
Fred.
no
No,
no.
don't worry about that. Neither of them are here. But Fred, I did his interview and I really liked his interview. When asked about what he's best between socially, strategically, physically, he's like, contrary to popular belief, because I do think that there's occasionally the case of inactivity. He is more on the social side of things. I do think that he is an interesting, again, it's just like Dex, and just like I think a lot of more complex answers when asked about hero or villain this season as opposed
Mhm.
to past ones. I think most people are just like, strictly, I am this. This is how I play the game. This is my philosophy. But other people are like, I like both. You know, I
Yeah.
think you need to be a villain to make certain moves. I think you could only win by playing as a villain, but you personally, you love being the hero. I do think that for Fred, my concern obviously is the activity of it all. Even without him acknowledging it, obviously hearing about his stint in Distortion, obviously playing with him myself at CTC, seeing him be an earlier boot in some other games on this side of things. Naturally, I already worry for the guy. I don't know how well he's done on the Facebook side of things. I know he's won one. He claimed this really good move that he made, probably one of the most impressive moves I've seen in like the best moment in orgs section. Yeah, y'all could read up on that if y'all want. So I definitely do think he has really strong strategic chops, and I do think that there's a chance where there's like this Dex upside where he kind of sneaks by being the least overtly threatening person left in the game and kind of reaping all the benefits. I think that he could wreak some chaos if he's so inclined. I'm just repeating everything I'm saying for Dex. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with me?
No,
But
I get that. I mean,
like if he's into the game, if he is 1000% in, he's super active, he's settled down because I think he had to move during some point in this interview. I
yeah.
think he's settled down in Florida right now. Then I think he can go really far. Like he says, like he talks about how bringing tons of passion, getting really invested into the game. Like this is all that he thinks. He eats, drinks, and sleeps Hypnotic. But if he's inactive, he slips off. I'm sorry for going for so long. Then I would say I think.
No, you're good. I was gonna say, like, from his stuff that I've seen, he seemed a lot more like mild mannered than I was expecting. I don't know why I was expecting like chaos or something. But like I feel like he's gonna come off to most people as yeah, like we said with Dex, like a chill dude. But like I see Fred taking I think Fred will take the game seriously. He's emphasized in his broad chat that like once the game starts, he's gonna be in it. He's gonna be taking things seriously. He's gonna be talking to people and all that stuff. I feel like he's gonna be the person that people want around like to have around. Like he's the guy people are gonna want to like actually talk to and vibe with for the most part. There are a few people on this cast I could see um gravitating towards him, and if he's able to like weaponize that and utilize that well enough, I think he can make it pretty far.
Yeah, I think the biggest worry is him possibly clashing heads with maybe some people who also are very uh, dominant personalities, I feel. Because I know we're coming up on a few personalities that I feel like can be not like wanting to take charge. I guess wanting like people who want to kind of take charge of the situation. I feel like we have some people coming up that they might not act like it, but they do want to take charge. And if he's also going to be like that, I feel like that might kind of like clash a little bit, and that might kind of bring a few things there.
Yeah.
I could definitely see that. Vibes wise, all I got is he plays Magic, Magic the Gathering, and he needs to say fuck at least once this season. And I
It
will
doesn't count.
campaign
Yeah.
if Fred says fuck the way he is meant to from the bit Fred says fuck of Scooby-Doo, I will beg the rest of Prod to let me give him a power. It can be a stupid power. It can be something that does just for the bit, but I will be so happy, and he will be my Prod favorite if he says fuck once this season.
The power is he gets 12 jury votes.
He'll finally get the poof power.
The power is he wins.
The poof power?
The poof power.
What was the
Because
poof power?
Scooby-Doo, yeah, they eat
Because
food
Scooby-Doo,
type shit.
yeah. Because there's a stupid
That's like the one thing I know about that show. There's food in
yeah,
it.
Fred says
Oh,
fuck.
okay. Jacob's poof power where you can just immediately.
Oh, I thought she said food. My fault.
No,
I thought it was just the sandwich power. Like, oh,
Brad just takes one look at Cam. Poof.
just
Oh, you're
Fred
saying.
can Thanos snap one member of this house.
Oh, that's for next season when we do the Marvel theme. We'll
That would
talk
kind of work
about
though, actually. All right.
it.
well,
No, I was kidding. Oh
Oh,
god,
listen, there's some meat there.
there's some schlong there.
I was gonna say
There's some hog there.
there's some hog there. Yeah.
There's some hog there. Anyway, moving on.
Such good words.
Speaking
got-
of Marvel,
We got giraffes.
Can I
All
say
right.
real fast? This fucking picture I stared at for a full 10 minutes. It's a work of art.
This
is
is
beautiful.
crazy. Yeah.
This is the campiest fucking outfit I've ever seen in my goddamn life, and I did Rocky for 5 years. I just wanted to say that before we began. I didn't in love with it.
I don't know if it's like supposed to be based off of like a certain like character or something, or if it's just like flowery person that got shot in the head.
It gives me the vibes of like, and hear me out here, that one painting of like Ophelia in like the river somehow with like Heather is laughing. You know what I mean?
Don't have to pull this up and show me.
Everyone take a second and Google that one painting of Ophelia in the water. I think it's supposed to be Ophelia.
Oh. Oh no.
Oh no.
I see it. Yeah,
This is
I do
art.
see it.
Yeah, I get it.
Drafts, I love you. I wasn't paying attention game-wise. I just wanted to lead with that.
Okay.
It's iconic.
So I played the best season ever of Spellbound with drafts. And from my perspective, we kind of alternated between like not working and then working and then going against each other and then like working really close with each other. The one thing that I remember pretty well at drafts is it was very clear where they stood most of the time. And I mean that like in a good way. It was very clear who they were with and who they were against. So if you were with giraffes at that point in time, then you were set. You had at least one vote going your way when it came time for tribal councils. It was a Survivor game. And in this case, you'd have at least one vote to save you. The downside of that, of course, is that if it's very clear who you're standing with, it's very clear who you're standing against, and if those people get in power, I could see drafts immediately being a nominee in that sense. And also, drafts was very underestimated in that game. I remember they won um, some sort of like memory immunity comp, and everyone was like, "Oh wow, we weren't expecting that," because there were other comp pieces in the game. Giraffes was not um, pegged as one of those, and then came out of nowhere to win something. So could I see them coming out of nowhere to win an HOH, and then people start scrambling, or at the very least start seeing where they stand with Giraffes? Definitely. Um, and I feel like just the biggest worry is, you know, um, like playing the social politics of, even if you don't like someone, you got to make sure that like they think you're with them so that you're safe once they come in power. So I think that would just be the biggest thing that I would be looking for in drafts, is if they're able to pull that off.
Yeah, I don't know drafts as well as everybody else here. I'm kind of hoping they do well, just because I think I was in for like part of their interview, but I
Mm-hmm.
was also like doing 500 other things in my life. But from what I do know from when I was there, I did like how they answered a few of the questions. I was like, okay, I think I did the two truths and a lie. I think I was on for that because I was like, I think the four cats is the lie, and I think I was right. Um, but yeah, so I did like a lot of their answers, so I kind of hope they go far. But I don't know as much about her as maybe some other people who may have perhaps either played or hosted
Yeah,
before to give any input.
yeah. Well, Jacob, Jacob, you hosted
Indeed,
draft.
I did.
How was that?
In the best season of Spellbound
Best
Survivor
season of Spellbound. Yeah.
until Final Four on onwards. That alone ruined the season. Fittingly enough, she got eliminated at fourth. So if she won that challenge and just won the season, we would have been fine. For the
If anyone but who won that challenge, won that challenge.
Which it's funny you mentioned that she was underrated from the players because she was also underrated from a production standpoint. Because, like you said, yeah, she was very clear who she was loyal to. She was ride or die with her side, but we felt that like, oh, she's going to get taken out, and the fact that she's so clearly aligned with that side, as you can tell by the conversations she's having, or I guess lack thereof, with the people that aren't on her side, that she'd struggle in a jury vote. But just seeing more jurors kind of join the jury, spreading like these anti Richard said I mean, she was beating Richard. Everyone was beating Richard, but it's like Richard, the eventual winner, somebody coming up later down the road, we're like, damn, Giraffes has like a really good shot of winning this. It's just a matter of getting there, which unfortunately she didn't. Um, so I do think that there's a world, considering that she almost won one of my games. Honestly, really impressed with her game. Had one of, if not my favorite interviews. But when I interviewed her in Spellbound, I still quote her to this day, because for the Spellbound one, because she said, least favorite type of player. Different answer in Spellbound. There's the overstepper and the egotistical bastard. I'm like, I gotta use that everywhere I go, which
Right.
you may have referenced that at least to some degree here. I know she's playing Bodo. Again, this is now the second person we're talking about. Definitely not the last,
Mhm.
who's playing both at the same time, but is trying to talk to everybody. And that's like a
Yeah.
what the cast is 32. I mean, obviously it's winding down since then. I think it's now 28, I think
28.
at
Yeah.
this point. But she was openly talking about, oh, sending her good mornings to everybody, trying to hold conversations. Now all these very lengthy or in-depth or particularly like riveting conversations, I don't know. I mean, ours are pretty chill, and laid
Yeah.
back, which I do appreciate. That's the check-in. Hey, good morning. How are you? Sleep well? That type of shit I appreciate. So definitely she will be getting on top of trying to form some of those bonds at the beginning. Um, don't think she's playing anything else on top of this. Just the inherent worry of her splitting her attention between one game and the other. And it's whereas the first person playing Bodo had explicitly said that they're going to care more about this and be more social and active in
Yeah.
this than Bodo. We have not gotten that draft. So she could be more 50-50 and may be an early casualty as a result. Like she's an easy person to put up because she doesn't really care about this game as much. But who knows?
I will say, she did, because again, at this point we were at like at the point at this one point in Spellbound, like when we were against each other, and there were these like two warring factions, and I was in the middle, and I had to like decide which way to go. The reason I decided to side with the group I sided with was basically because of what Giraffe said to me. I forget exactly what it was, but it was like very convincing. So that's another thing we should bring up. She's very good at talking to people, very good at telling them what they want, and making them do what she wants. And I think she meant it because I think when I got voted out the next round, she was one of the only people that I think she was the only person that voted with me. So she's good at following through on that. So bring attention to that.
She
All
was
right.
not happy. She was pissed after that. She was like,
All
"This is
right.
so stupid." Which she was right. Like all things considered, for obviously her not getting her way there, like obviously I give knocks on people when they vote in the minority. They get outplayed. But like that was Giraffe's best move there to move forward with you. So I do think she has great instincts. I think she has great strategic ideas.
Yeah.
And from the interview both here and in Spellbound and some of her answers she gives, like a tribal. Clearly, she's super smart. Clearly, she knows what the fuck she's talking about. It's just a matter of executing it and finding some like-minded individuals.
Which I think
Uh,
should be good.
yeah.
All right, and our next player, Isa.
I'm so excited.
Yes. Okay, so
Was anyone else on during Issa's interview or no?
No, but I've watched it back. It was a fun time.
Okay.
So, well, you can start actually on this one,
So Issa is me and Alex's IRL was mine first.
which means which means guaranteed top
they,
5.
they're gonna get yeah.
Yeah.
Issa's going to get top 5. They will get that because that's what it's been. Other than Liz's IRL, but that's besides the point. So they are a lovely human being. I was so excited when we were
Just casually
we,
talking
we
about.
were at this like gaming thing or like a game night with some
Mhm.
friends or whatever, and they were there, and we mentioned something about Hypnotic, and they're like, "Wait, what? Yo, that sounds so cool. Wait," and that's
And
when
then we pounced.
we were like, "Oh, so you wanna play?" Kind of thing, and they seem very genuinely excited about it. So I hope to see this more. I don't know how much they're into like these kind of reality shows. They say they are. They say they love Survivor. They say they love Big Brother. I'm interested to see where it fares in a org setting, especially because this is their first ever org. They had no idea anything like this existed, and we might scare them off. But we'll see.
We have a pretty good track record of pulling people into the community,
Yeah.
to be fair. So,
But they're I think socially they'll be able to like figure out and maneuver things because they're just a very personable person kind of thing. Like once you know Issa, you don't forget Issa. So yeah, I'm excited, and they're a theater kid, so I think we do have at least one other theater kid on this cast, so I'm excited to see.
I think there's like 12 theater kids on any org cast at any given time.
That is very true, but that's besides the
Right. No, Issa is great. Very easy to talk to. I feel like always smiling, always in a good mood. Similar to what we said before about some of the other players, I feel like if nothing else, people are just gonna want to keep Issa around. With that, if Issa is as like knowledgeable about like Big Brother and Survivor and how the game works and all that, I could see them working their personality with the strategy to. I could honestly see them becoming like a bit of a power player if if their cards are played right. I think Issa is going to do very well if they get one of the roles in any round. Um, I'm, honestly, I'm most curious to see if Issa's gonna call people on their bullshit or not, because I could see it going either way. Like either like this being their first game and not really wanting to get out too early or anything, or this being their first game, they'd be like, I'm just gonna have some fun, and then they just call people out. Well, you were obviously the murderer, so why don't you just admit, like that kind of thing. I really hope it's the former, but even if it's or the latter, I should say. But even if it is the former, I'm still gonna have a good time watching them play. So excited.
Yeah, I do not know what this person's vibes are, but I'm already excited. I love a theater kid. I love someone who like their first answer for hero and villain is that they want to be a hero in some capacity or that they probably are a hero. I just think that's fun. I feel like we see a lot of villains when we get these responses, and someone who's like hero first is a little more uncommon, which is funny.
Hmm.
Um,
What did they say?
that and I think
What did
if
they say
they're coming,
they
oh,
would?
what's up?
I'd say what did they say they would do if they won final three?
Easier beat.
They take the easier
Final
beat.
three.
Yeah, if I want to win, I want to win.
Heck yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I like that. I think that'll be really cool to watch. I love their outfit in this picture. That alone has me excited. Amazing, absolutely top tier fit. And uh yeah, they seem like they know what they're talking about, just looking at their like interview answers, at least enough to kind of not come in completely blind, which I came in completely blind, so except for what Alex would yap at me when we were between scenes. So they've already got a leg up on when I started, so I'm excited to see how they do.
Yeah.
So wait, let me just confirm how to pronounce their name. Issa, right?
Yes.
Issa. Just want to make sure that's what I presumed, but I just want to
Mhm.
confirm.
Yeah.
Um, so we've had Joanne, we've had Caden. It was now Alex and Heather's turn to bring another friend into the fold. So that's the jokes, like, oh, they're guaranteed at least top five. What's interesting though, there's somebody who I brought, this girl named Glenda, into Spellbound, and it's relevant, I swear. But she gave the same vibes Issa gives off. It's very bubbly, it's very fun, it's very smiley, happy person. Um, this person that, and to compare, that's kind of the how I project Issa to do here. I think people are going to love them. I think they're going to be beloved by a vast majority of the house. I think that some of the more seasoned players will be just like, I don't want to lie to Issa. I feel bad, or at least feel bad if when they do or if they do. Um, but one thing that all of those aforementioned people, the Kate and the Joanne, they had in common, they were undyingly loyal to the person who had control of the game. They had the lay of the land. Like Joanne was super close with Juan. He ends up getting both of them ended up getting pots. Caden was close to Caleb. I could see Issa just actually being more than likely that I think preseason we expected them to link up with the person who ends up being in control and reaping some of the benefits of that. They're the bad cop, or that player is the bad cop, whereas Issa, they will be the good cop and will kind of actually people won't be mad at Issa on their way out. I don't think if Issa makes it to the jury phase and makes it very far into the game. My concern, they claim that they're willing to take the easier beat. That's pretty impressive. So I do think that at least shows some killer instinct, or at least some intention of trying to show killer instinct.
Yeah.
It's different when you get in there, because I think Hayden also was huge on like, I'm gonna backstab people, I'm gonna manipulate, but was never gonna take out Caleb, and I don't see Caden beating Caleb at the end last season. It's
Mm,
easier said than done. Obviously,
yeah.
playing your first game, you don't expect to forge the bonds that you end up forging with some of these people. If you make it super far, these could be genuine friendships or friendships you at least want to see survive outside of Discord. And I do think that if they make it super far, then they may run into that struggling to make some of these more cutthroat decisions. Um, Still excited though, regardless. Obviously, they're new. They've never played a game before. And Have they watched Big Brother? Like, are they a fan?
I know at least Survivor. I'm not sure with Big Brother, but
Um,
like I think once we said it was Big Brother, they were very interested.
I think they talked about liking 17, BB 17.
Good
Okay,
choice.
Good choice.
good choice.
And also their favorite Survivor season is also my favorite Survivor season, so I think that they have good taste.
Well, it's not 46, so bad taste. Bad taste. Bad.
I will say, and I will probably, state it a little bit more later, but I do see them getting along really well with someone who is coming up in a few slides. But also,
Yes, I think we're talking about the same
are
person.
we thinking the same one?
Maybe starts with the same two letters that Issa's name ends with. I don't know. Maybe.
What?
Oh, okay. You're thinking of a different one.
Okay, then
Maybe a
that's why.
trio. Maybe
Power
a
trio.
Oh, yeah. I think I know who the person you're talking about. Maybe like 2 or 3 people from now. But yeah,
I don't know,
Yeah.
but someone can explain it to me later.
yeah.
All right. Let's give ourselves a move on to our next player, Jared.
I played Jared's
What up,
first
I'm Jared,
game, and I
19.
felt so bad voting out of his first game, like first or second.
Oh,
Was that?
You made Jared first boot in his first game?
I think it was CTC.
Oh, CTC. I thought you were talking about the clap game, and I was like, Jared played that. I don't know.
No, I don't think he was in that, but
He
no,
might have played
it was
season
CTC. I think.
I don't know if I've played with Jared before. Well,
I love
okay.
Jared.
Well, okay.
Jared's
So
cool.
Technically, you have. I don't know if y'all ended up on the same track though.
let's see. When was that?
In Distortion All Stars.
Oh yeah. No, he got voted out early there.
Yeah, you
No. Okay. So Jared was on prod with us for the Spellbound Hypnotic crossover, kind of as like we called it the intern, but also he helped out a lot, like to the extent that he was like pretty much an actual prod member for that game. And I've always got the impression that Jared does have a really good understanding of the game, and I feel like is gonna end up being one of the more strategic players that we have on the game. We talked a lot about like this cast is very social. I feel like Jared's gonna stand out as being strategic, which could be a good thing or a bad thing in the sense of like could be a good thing of like he's gonna know exactly what needs to be done at any given time to advance himself in the game, but it could be bad in the sense of if he is playing strategic and everyone else is playing more social, then he's gonna stand out a little too much and that's gonna put a target on his back. Hopefully not, because I do really like Jared as a person. I think other people are gonna like Jared as a person, and I think he's gonna be very interesting to watch. And I'm excited to see how that turns out.
Woohoo. What up? I'm Jared, 19. Um,
And he did learn how to read.
he did learn how to read. He's got a book and everything.
Good job,
I
Jared.
I feel like I'm just looking at his interview responses. I see that he mentions he doesn't work well with bigger personalities, which I think might be a challenge this season because we do have a lot of like very, vibrant people, very like I want to be in the game, I want to be active people, which can come across as very big in a game. So that might be tricky. But he mentions that in his anything else we need to know response that Alex needs to wear a bob wig once this during the season. So I hope he makes it as far as possible so that that has to happen.
Wait, he said what?
Wear a bob wig once during the season.
Why?
I have one.
Wait, what's the context of that?
I don't know, but I'm in love with it. So Jared, you gotta make it to the end, man. You
No,
just have to.
no. We asked him like, is there anything we need to know? Like any accommodations we need to make? And he said no. But if Alex needs to wear a bob wig once during the season.
Okay.
You have to. That's what he needs. And
And
we've
so
tested. So
and I
it's-
asked
I
him
definitely have the hair
explicitly,
for it.
and explicitly he was like, even if I'm voted off, like it's like one time during the season he has to wear the wig.
but he has to be here to witness it. Alex, first time you show up on camera, bob wig. You can do it.
All right, guys. It's
you
Edna
bum.
mode, and here are the first results. Of the first HOH.
I might have a wig. Wait.
Yes. This is beautiful.
This is so
Uh
good.
But yeah, Jared, you gotta kill it, man. We gotta be here for the Bob Wig. Anyway,
That's
excited to see how he
excellent.
plays.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I do hope Jared makes it far. I do like I love Jared. Jared's a great human being, and I think that I like have I've with being in his first game, and like I haven't been in another game with him, but I've witnessed a lot of games with him. I have loved seeing his growth from his first game. Because the reason why I know he got out in his first game is because there was like six people left on like a call, and he was the first person to say, "Hey, let's all make an alliance."
Oh, and he meant it?
Yes.
Oh no. You can't.
So that is something that like I believe as far as like I've seen that has changed in the past like 2 years since that game happened. But I think that like he's very open to like working with a lot of different people. So like I feel like he can find a place to fit in. Jacob is stunned.
Jacob, you good, buddy?
Now that I know that information, I'm never letting that go. I'm just gonna randomly.
Never game. He never played anything before that.
No. When he leaves the house chat, and if there were six people, I was like, Jared, there were six people. Why didn't you offer an alliance with all of us? Why did you do
That's so. Oh my god, that's awful.
that? No, that's gonna be postseason. I'm not gonna be antagonizing him during the season. I wanted to host him. I'm the reason why he's here. I would be damned if I'm the ruiner of his fun. Jared, I love. I met him in Distortion All Stars, hit it off very well, kept in touch postseason, and ended up playing Spellbound and joining Prod on Spellbound. So I'm talking to him a whole lot more.
Oh, he's on
Um,
Spellbound now?
yeah. So he helped with the mini, and then that was kind of his never
Nice. Okay, yeah.
formally introduced and made like an announcement. Oh shit, Jared's on Prod. I don't think we ever have made an announcement like that before, but. Nah, me and Jared have stayed in touch since then. I think Jared's a lot of fun, and it's actually so funny to hear about his first game because I think Distortion was his second. He got fourth in pod. So like clearly he grew exponentially just in
Yeah.
that time. Like he took what little experience he had in CTC and knowing him, he probably went to the host and said, "What do I need to work on? What do I got to do?" And because I think he's very astute and very studious and very smart player. I think that he is able to kind of dissect, analyze the situation, ponder for a moment, weigh the pros and cons. He talks about being super active, so I think we're going to get a lot of fun insight in his post chat, sending confessionals and whatnot about his insights into the game. You actually kind of took the words out of my mouth, Alex, like worrying about like if he doesn't read the room and it's like if this is a more socially skewed cast and he comes off a little bit too strategic, he may not forge as meaningful or as strong of bonds. I think that was like one of his biggest crutches in All Stars. Like obviously, like it's All Stars, so everyone's playing strategic to some degree. But I think that he was people's number three, number four, but wasn't really anyone's number one. He has to find that, I think, very early on. That I think is going to be his biggest obstacle. Will he find himself being someone's priority? Like that is going to be the thing. If he does find that early on, because he's on prod with Cam, I don't think that's common knowledge. So I don't think that's something that's going to be clocked super easily.
Yeah.
I think maybe he could find that. I think there's a couple other players, and because there's Jared, there's Giraffes, and one more player from his season of Spellbound, who was actually his final two, or he was at least there final two. I don't know if it was mutual.
Jared was in that season of Spellbound?
Yeah, he was merge boot. He was Jared. He was for sure.
Oh no, yeah, yes, because
He got murked in that 4 to
he kept
3 to
throwing
3 to
Inky
1 vote.
votes, and
Word.
yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, which by the way, Jared, don't throw Hinky votes this season. Like, yeah, I mean, like, I
If you're
think if he
listening
does,
right
he
now.
commits to the bit. This may cost him. I
Jared,
think
if you're
he could.
listening right now, once the game's over, in the game, don't throw it.
It's in the game. Don't do it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks,
But
man.
yeah.
Appreciate you listening. Okay. All right. We move on to our next player.
This is the player I thought would be getting along well with Issa.
Yes,
Oh,
yes, yes,
Jess.
yes, 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 yes.
I have thoughts on that, but
You have
we'll circle back
thoughts.
to
They
me
better
later.
all be good because
About no about the Jess Issa relationship because I was thinking about this, but not in the same way that Heather
okay,
was.
so many things to say about Jess. First, uh, they're playing Bodo right now. Um, and they're a good teammate. They're like me, Jacob, and Jess are all on the same team. Um, and okay, big thing about Jess. Jess is coming off of what I would argue is probably one of the most impressive winning games I've ever played with, that being Kaleidoscope uh, All Stars. Because Jess, I'm gonna be honest, Jess kind of ran that game in a way that like nobody was expecting. Because Jess was setting up these plans, putting them in motion, and then would somehow get off completely scot-free and no one would notice until the jury, but then did so in such a way that everyone was like, oh shoot, wait, that was kind of good. You know what, Jess has got my vote in the end. um so that being said, I do think Jess is probably one of the most well-rounded players we have on the cast. Is her win in Kaleidoscope going to paint her as this like gigantic threat? Possibly, but I feel like she's solid enough um to work around that and kind of just make it as just like, yeah, I played that game this way. I took that game very seriously. This one, I'm not gonna take as seriously. You don't need to worry about me, all that stuff. And then meanwhile, she's just doing the same stuff in the background, to get all the way to the end. Another player I think will do very well in in any of the roles that are given, and I would be very excited to see if she gets killer and has a doable victim to get rid of. So that's my take on that.
Yeah, I think she's a very like upbeat kind of personality. So like she's gonna get along well with the other people who are going to be very uh upbeat, social, out there. Um I think when we were casting season 2, we did want to cast her, but we didn't want to put her at a disadvantage with working or playing a game with her brother-in-law.
Yeah.
So I'm really glad that she applied again because I believe, if I was not mistaken, we did really want to cast her in season 2.
Yeah, but
Had
then
it not been for the like basically familial connection, and as people who have been played with their loved one or like someone they are actually close to, it puts them at a disadvantage outside the gate and stuff. But this time
what are you
we
talking
get
about?
to
We weren't at a
see.
disadvantage at all, in the slightest. Not even close.
Okay, anyway. Um, but now that like I was so happy to see that she had applied for this season because I still remember her interview from like 2 years ago. So it's like, and it was such a good interview. And so then I think I was also on for her interview this time. And she's obviously grown a lot since then. Like she's sneaky in the way that like I feel like not many people get mad at her for what she does. She's more villainous from what I see, but is perceived still as a hero for being villainous, which is not something I feel like people see a lot. Because people will be like, oh, if they're a villain, they're a villain. If they're a hero, they're a hero. But she's like, it's very weird. Like people will still praise her for being villainous, and
Anti-hero?
I don't think an anti-hero
Yeah.
though. I don't know if that's it's like a heroic villain.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Dan
So, yeah.
Dan Giesling looking.
Not-
You haven't hear yeah, you heard it here first. Jess is Dan Giesling.
I I remember we were supposed to cast her and her friend Dari. Remember her?
I do remember
Did
that.
we cast it?
I was so sad, bro.
No.
I was like really high on Dari after that.
Yeah,
I remember.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
no,
cried.
we were gonna cast Ari.
But yeah, but I do remember the big problem was like, oh, Topher's there too. And at this point,
And
we've gotten
and she
Topher.
applied with like a million of her friends.
At this point, we've gotten Topher, Jen, and Jess. So we're running through the entire family at this
At
point.
this point, we're
Next,
Corey
we
for
got
season
the
6.
baby.
Next, we got the baby.
Okay, fine. Charlotte for season 6, then Corey for season
I'm
6.
in. Let's do it.
Get them started early.
All right. Got anything else for Jess?
Um, Liz, did you have something you wanted to add, or
I just like her vibes. That's it.
That's
real? Okay, so it's funny that Heather mentioned Jess and Issa getting along. Do I think Jess would want to work with Issa? Yes. Do I think this will, to draw a parallel to Olympic Games, Jess will see Issa as her Nova. No, Nova was somebody else who made it to Final Three.
Mm.
They hit it off very well. They were a close duo. I think they were a nominee for duo of the season. They lost to Mia Denson. Let's fucking go. But for that award. Um, but Nova, I think from the perspective of the cast, was more on the naive side, was kind of a little bit more easy to manipulate, at least from the perspective of the cast, the perspective of the jury. And I didn't have the greatest win equity as a result of that because Jess was more underhanded and openly and admittedly so, especially at FTC. She did a really good job, obviously, speaking her case, Jess, and she was always getting my vote, but she locked it in. Jess, incredible player. I played with her twice, and usually, if I pride myself on being good at choosing my people, like correctly reading who is in my corner. Jess was my person in the traders, and she was a trader damn near the whole time. She got recruited so about throughout the process, never missed a beat, was always my person. So fool me once, shame on me. And then I trusted her again in Olympic Games, so fooled me twice.
Yeah, so
No,
that's
no,
your
fool me once, shame on her. Fool me twice, shame on me. So I think it's really impressive how she's able to bring people's guard down. I do think her relationship. I do think she'll fight for Issa. Like, no, we're not gonna fucking do that and take out the newbie. Like,
Oh,
that's
100%. Yeah, yeah.
she's 1,000%. Oh, that's a pussy shit. Yeah,
I know Jen and Jess, I think, are the same way with newbie players where they're more open to a newbie person, and I think that can actually see a parallel, not to compare siblings, like because that like they're very different people, but like I remember Jen was very like pro Caden, like with Caden being
Hmm.
their first game, and I feel like Jess could be that to Issa.
100%.
Where with this being Issa's first game, Jess will like kind of take them under her wing, kind of thing. But I do agree with the one that you think that Issa will get along very well with too, and I see it now, like once you mentioned it. So, but
And
we'll get there.
We'll get there. We'll
we'll
get
get
there.
there. But yeah, no, I have high. I said I have high hopes for everybody, but genuinely do think that I don't know if she'll be able to win just off the simple fact that
Threat
there
level.
are. I think some people may catch on. I think I don't know. I obviously don't want to jinx it. Like I do think obviously she has the
I feel like
potential to
I
go
feel like her
for it.
strategy works very well for Survivor. Not 100% sure for Big Brother.
I'm not, yeah, so I don't think it's like a 1-1 thing, like, oh, because she was able to pull that off over there.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I've seen her excel in the Traders, which is a very different format, which is only social really, because physical doesn't really play a factor. So I think that there is someone from Olympic Games on here who was not only a
Connected.
victim of Jess's duplicity,
Yeah.
but also didn't vote for her to win, as far as what I remember. So that's going to be an interesting relationship to see how those two, like, one thing that a theme that I've noticed with a couple of these guys, there's history here. There's tons of
Oh
people
yeah.
who knew each other going into this
And
and that
just
played with
how
each other semi recently, maybe in the past year. Some who've gone against one another. So it's kind of interesting to see whether or not people will want to reconcile and say, this game is our game. This is the game where we get to finally work together. Or will people just already have that chip on their shoulder and immediately be like, oh, we gotta get him out. And knowing the person I'm talking about, they'll probably let bygones be bygones. But if I were them, I'd be like, nah, gotta get rid of this motherfucker. You're thin eyes.
We'll see how that that plays out once we get into the game. All right, next player, Linz. Okay, so I don't know a ton about Linz. I know a few things. One, I know she won the most recent season of Bodo. I don't think a lot of people know that, so I'm not saying that in the sense of like, Liz, why are you in like the void?
What do you mean? Why is she in the void?
Let her be in the void.
You're the one in the you're the one who made the
Hamburger.
graphic.
Did you say hamburger?
Making hamburger.
Oh,
Making
okay.
hamburgers.
Okay, you have fun with that. Uh, okay. So I know Lynn's won Bodo, and from my Bodo experience, from playing season one, um, I honestly think Bodo is one of the hardest games to win. Not just because there's like a lot of people you got to be playing with, but because like, um, if you're just because if you're a physical threat in that game, people are going to take you out at some point. If you're a social threat, people are going to like that might get you like to the final, but it won't help you win. But if you're both, if you're able to handle both of those aspects, then like you're a very formidable player in basically every sense of the word. I know that she works in HR, I believe. And she mentioned a lot that she's really good at listening to people's problems, making them feel heard, and then like telling them what we need to say. I feel like I talked about that with giraffes earlier. I think Linz is going to do even better with that. With like I said, telling people what they want to hear and making them trust her in such a way that um, I feel you know what I feel like Linz, if she gets HOH, I feel like is going to be one of the most uh you know that segment like Big Brother 15, like Andy wins HOH, and then they just have like a montage of everyone being like, "Yeah, I feel good with Andy. I should be safe this round." It's like every person in the house. That's gonna be Lynn's. I feel like. I feel like everyone's gonna feel good with her. Could end up being a bad thing if like she gets exposed for something for working too many people, but I don't think that's gonna be too big of a problem.
Is this the person who Jacob you interviewed and then you just said, "Oh, we are casting Linz"?
Yeah. Because she was the last one to apply and did her interview the day of, and so I asked Prods like, "Hey, if it's good enough, do y'all like trust me enough to like send the acceptance after the fact?" Because this was the last day of either apps being open, interviews
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
being done.
And then it happened, and you were like, "Yep."
Yeah. Just trust me. Just trust me. I'm cooking, I
Yeah.
swear. But no, yeah, no, if that's any testament, obviously loved Linz's interview. I've seen her around. She's been playing a lot of games. She's been playing on and on and on. Like everything she can get a hold of an app, she's applying for it. Um, and I'm glad we got her now before she's orged out, because that's an eventuality. You play a bunch of these games, you get very enthusiastic. The enthusiasm dies at some point. She will be ruined at some point, but not before she plays Hypnotic. So yippee. I think she has a very I think just the way she was able to conduct herself in the interview and really sell herself. I think that's indicative of how well she's going to do in the game. I think that obviously mentioned her doing HR, so she has a very interpersonal job. You know, a lot of people talk about, oh, social is the most important thing to do because, and they try to stretch how their career is an indication that, oh, I'm a cashier and I gotta talk to people. No one fucking gets to do shit. That's a cashier. But
Paper or plastic if you're a cashier.
oh my gosh, I'm a newspaper fucking
But in
boy.
this case,
I'm a great social player, but no, like she
yeah.
genuinely has a good job for that, you know. So I think that in tandem. But one thing that's really key is how she's like, I'm a good listener. It's not just forging these bonds. You need to take in as much as you give. Like you have to
Hmm.
really understand and break down what's in other people's best interests and work accordingly. So I think she's going to be able to catch whether or not people are thinking on the same wavelength as her very well. I think she's going to pick some good allies. Um, and the fact that she made it to the end of a game that is so contingent off of challenge performance, and yet she says that physical is the one that she does the worst in. I think, very similarly to another player I mentioned earlier. She's a jack of all trades. I think she can do well in all three facets of the game. The problem is, will she have that killer instinct? Because she talks about how she sometimes struggles with playing with her heart and weighing playing with her heart versus playing with her head. So I do think that maybe she may find herself in a position, could be a game-changing decision. That it's all
Yeah.
dependent on if Linz has the killer instinct to cut that person or not, and that can either win her the game or lose her the game right then and there.
Mhm.
But we'll just see.
I will also say we have not we've done 4 seasons of Hypnotic and one mini. We have never had a girl make it to the final two. I would not be surprised if Linz makes it to the final two. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's
Hmm.
what I'm saying.
I
I
think
would love
to
to
be,
see that.
I think our
It
non-male,
better be.
I think our pool of non-males this season is really strong.
Oh yeah.
And there was a couple others who had applied that I really wish were on here. It would have made this
That's all
side of the
right.
cast even stronger. But like,
Yeah.
just
Also, Lynn's committed to the bit with her cast photo. Can we talk about that for a
yeah,
second?
she ate,
I
she
was
ate.
gonna say, I love the deer stalker hat. It's amazing. It's perfect for
Dear
this.
Stalker Hat.
Yeah, that's what it's called. That like little like
Oh, that's actually what it's called. I thought
yeah,
Oh,
it
that's
was
the
like
official
okay.
name for the Sherlock Holmes cap is
I
like a
just
deer
call it a
stalker.
Sherlock Holmes hat. Yeah.
I mean,
I
yeah,
just call
because
it a
of
hat.
course.
I just
Damn,
call
Yeah,
it
how
a hat.
fucking
crazy.
tryhards
Honestly.
are. Just like, it's a hat. Oh my God.
It's a
It's
hat.
a
But
good
speak
hat.
but speaking of hat, we move on to wait,
Oh
unless
wait, I
someone
didn't
else
get to
has
talk
oh,
about
oh,
Lynn's yet.
sorry, my fault.
No, I'm
You
so
talk about the
excited.
dish.
Talk about Lynn's and then we can talk about hats.
All right. I'm very excited to see Lynn's play. Just looking at the interview questions, I think that I personally will. This is gonna end up being. I think she's gonna end up being my favorite, honestly. Also, I'm very excited to see the PowerPoints. Just all of it, like, the answer to hero or villain. I'm a hero. If I got the villain award, I'd lose my mind and be so upset. Like that's. I relate to that very hard. Uh, very excited about this. Yeah, and also just I wanted to point out the two truths and a lie that she put forth. I feel like that's like the a good indication from me, like coming in blind, otherwise not knowing her, that she's going to really like take this seriously in the sense like these are all very strange and out there like details to pick,
Oh my
but
god.
also the lie was still itself, like it's a real reach. So I feel like this will make it really cool to see if she ever does have to kind of like fudge the truth a little bit or interact with people who are otherwise trying to frack for information out of her. I'm looking forward to seeing how she handles that because I think it'll be really cool to watch.
Oh yeah, I'm just finding out that I spelled phronectomy right just by sounding it out. Go me.
Yeah, good job.
Job.
Yes, sir.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, no,
Be a
that's
doctor.
something I did make a point to know whenever it was just like, oh, it's
Right.
usually like you change one detail. You change like a number, and all of them were super in detail. She
And these,
elaborated
yeah, these
all
are
of
all
them.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah, which I'm like, what the fuck? It's not even the game hasn't even started yet.
I know. All
Oh,
right.
shit.
Uh, now I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what the hat thing is.
Now back to hats, deer stalker hats.
Oh,
Speaking
sorry.
of hats, and
What?
speaking of stalkers, we move
Speaking
on
of
to our
hats and
next
stuff.
player.
Speaking of hats, it's Mira.
Yeah,
Does he even
yeah.
have a
I
hat?
wasn't paying attention to who was next.
Who's not wearing a
Does he even have
hat?
exactly? That's the fun part. I'll go first. So I'm currently playing Paradox.
What?
So she's getting to see me play. This is gonna be a fun dynamic, like obviously I'm hosting her while she's hosting me, and we're playing together. This feels like deja vu, but and you know how that ended for me because I think I was playing Wheel with Heather, and that was my first just Kaleido season when something very similar to this happens. So let's hope that's not what happens. Um, love Mira. Obviously, she's kind of similar to Linz, has been in the org community not for too long, but has been playing a lot of games, a lot on top of each other. I think she's playing two others. She's playing Bodo. I think she's also playing 1984, which all three of these games just started. Like these are still very early on. We've gotten two eliminations, I guess, well, four people out in Bodo. We've just had an eviction in 1984, and she's just starting this. I am worried for her, just on that element alone. I do think that she will split up her attention and not give an appropriate amount to all of them. And just due to Hypnotic being the last one to start up, I do think that this is probably the one she may get out first in potentially. Um, and a relationship I'm interested to see here is Aaliyah and Mira, because I feel like they're two sides of the same coin. I think this is like what, like their fifth game playing together.
Oh no. Okay.
And they were working together in Distortion. Mira ends up voting for her to win because she's real. She's fucking real.
All right.
Um, and by see, Mira is somebody who loves to be in charge, someone who loves to be at the forefront of the strategy. I think a very
Yeah, I can see that.
strategic, very cutthroat player. She wants to be a her words, not mine, a boss ass bitch, basically. She wants to girl boss it. And she felt like she was a threat to her girl bossing. She can't have other girls being bosses around her.
Oh, okay. I
So,
see.
so, so like they were working together, but at the same time they were like, I gotta get rid of her eventually. And I do think that if they can,
I love a frenemy dynamic.
friend, that's perfect dynamic. The perfect way to explain their dynamic. I think if they put their differences aside, they link up, they join forces, I think they can be very good. They're very strong together. I think it will help her kind of like hold her back a little bit. Like, hey, let's play chill. Let's play the social game right now. Let's not try to make a million moves here. Whereas Mira, I think, can push Leah a bit further out in some social regards and get her to talk to more people. I think they could balance each other out well in that regard because I fear that they're going to be gunning for each other at some point in this game. And once one goes, the other one will go
Oh,
because people
I
will
see.
take
Yeah, yeah.
advantage of their conflict. Just be like, they're at odds with one another. These two really strong players, not on the same page. And they're doing everything in their power to undercut the other, but they'll both succeed, but they'll also both in turn fail because,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's my fear. I think if she can do that, I think there's some other people here as well that I think she may have a rivalry with. I see a Jess versus Mira showdown at some point in the
Hell
game.
yeah. No,
That would be
actually, that'd be
fun.
sick.
That would be amazing. That'd be awesome. But yeah, have I'm really excited to host Mira
What
though.
about
I hope she gives us her all
what about a
because
Dex versus Mira showdown?
that would be well. She also hosted him in Paradox. So if
There you go.
I don't know if she was like fed up with his shit. If there was shit to be fed up with in Paradox, so that would be a very fun. Oh, and Cam too. That may be a very interesting dynamic
She's
because
gonna be the one that calls people out
yeah, that
this
one
entire
thousand
game.
percent
Great. That means she needs to stay as long as possible because that's great TV.
agreed.
I will also say, as far as you mentioning like how much he's going to be like involved in the game and all that. So she's yet another player that's playing Bodo right now, and the basis of our conversation at this point has just been um, me being like, "Yeah, I'm not going to talk to that many people. There's a lot of people," and she's like, "What are you talking about? You need to talk to people." Dude, that's part of the game. I'm just like, yeah, but I'm lazy. And she's like, ugh, weirdo. So like, I think she'll take it. I think she'll be more active than we're expecting right now. Especially like we keep bringing it up, but like the twists are going to get people to not trust each other, and she's gonna be the one that's gonna be like, "You're lying to me right now." So I feel like that's how it's gonna go down.
Unfortunately, for the accommodations, it says no feet content for free.
All right.
So
That we got to change the entire season now. Get rid of all the feet cups.
I don't think we have, do we? I know sometimes there are.
We have like 16 feet cups out of 15 competitions. All right, Liz, you know Mira.
Yeah, Mira was the judge that I was playing under during Unplugged, and I listen, when we were looking for people to join this season, I don't tend to play orgs myself that much anymore. Mostly I did it to hang out with the people that I pretty much already knew and meet some other cool people, which was really nice. But I had a lot of fun playing Unplugged. I got surprisingly far, and most of that actually was thanks to Mira, who was rocking with me every time I send her like a weird song that was super out there. She was right there with me. I sent a joke song from Bob's
Bob's
Burgers one
Burgers,
of the
yeah.
rounds, and she was loving it. So I was excited to get Mira in here because I was like, oh, a friend I've actually kind of, someone I'm rocking with from an org that I actually played in. I'm so glad that she agreed. Looking at her answers, I am so excited that I was able to, kind of talk to her and gently talk her into it, even though I completely forgot to get on for her interview because I'm the worst. I'm so sorry, Mira.
Oh,
Um, I cannot wait to see her play. Um, I love her answer for hero and villain, which is always what my eye goes to. She said, that depends on what phase the moon is in it and if I've had enough sodium for the day, which is absolutely hilarious. And she takes issue with men who try to be alphas. So I see what you mean with some of our like stronger personalities, our like some of our male presenting players may end up trying to kind of dominate a little bit in a way that kind of clashes with Mira, and so I'm looking forward to seeing how her like raw skill, like kind of works with them. Also, I would love to know about the official cult and unofficial cult that she says she was in. If she ever feels comfy talking about that, I am deeply curious.
Well, I
Yeah,
hope they are because when people watch this cast assessment postseason, they're like cults. Everyone's
yeah.
going cult.
Like, what cult were they in? Like, holy shit. So yeah, Mira, I can't wait to see you play.
All right, move on to our next player. Um,
Speaking of cults,
yeah, everyone get ready for a jump scare. It's Pierre.
Bye. Can I go
uh,
first? I got
goes by another name, but in this game, it's Pierre.
yeah, no, Kilby slash Pierre. I don't I'm gonna slip up at some point. I don't know if it's during
I'm
this.
so excited for
I
this.
don't know if I rip the band-aid off and just refer to him as Kilby. It's like fucking oh you
Jacob,
haven't watched
Jacob,
have
this is
you
Pierre.
this bit would throw me off so
Heather,
badly.
remember in South Pacific where the girl was like, "Oh, that's not Coach, that's Benjamin."
Oh,
I'm about to do the same thing, but saying
yeah.
this is Kilby,
He's
not
seen
Pierre.
that season now.
I've seen that
We're
one.
on Cambodia.
Ah, fine.
What
But
was his
no,
name?
so
What was his birth name? It wasn't Pierre. It was
it was
Kilby.
Kilby. That's gonna be me in a moment.
Okay, that
Okay.
aside.
That is no, actually this is relevant here.
I'm sorry.
So I loved his interview. I genuinely felt like because his was like, oh, the first couple days everyone's gonna hate me. People are gonna be sick of my shit. But then I'm slowly gonna wear them down. I'm gonna endear, but they're gonna love me after the end of it. And they're gonna start off saying, oh, thank God he's gone. But then by the time if people do send them home, they're like, no, I don't want to send Kill before Pierre. This is before Pierre, mind you. So he said Kilby. It's like, oh no, I don't want to get rid of Kilby. I love Kilby because he has this very fun, vibrant personality, and I think that really shined through during his interview. He's one of my favorites this season. Um, the question is, will okay, because obviously, like I know he mentioned like being funny, being silly, like his personality being something that
Yeah.
really propels his social and his strategic game. Um, but will he be taking this game seriously is the question, is the fear obviously now, because I know in Mastermind he talked exclusively in emojis. That was his bit. And obviously this isn't as much as a of like prohibitor. He's still talking with people, obviously, but he's playing a character here. He's role playing. Um, so I am naturally just scared that he will not, and people either may get tired of it or people may just want to get rid of him just due to the fact that oh he's not taking this seriously. He doesn't give a fuck if he gets sent home. Um,
Here's okay.
yeah.
I think I'm just gonna interject here. I think
Okay.
there's only two possibilities here. Either he's gonna flame out super super quickly, or
He's gonna be
accidentally make it to like Final Four.
He's gonna be Mike V.
That's actually a great comparison.
In all fairness, I did tell him like, hey, Topher the unencumbered and spellbound, and he made final two, and he committed to the bit all the way through. So I mean, like, it is possible. Like, I'm not knocking him
I
for it.
forgot about that.
Yeah, my man, so far the unencumbered.
Is this a bit?
Like no, it was a bit. Oh yeah, because I don't think you really knew to for like that before that. But no, it's just like I do think that Pierre obviously has obviously great qualities and somebody whom if it was just without the bit, without that fear, which I think considering Mastermind's a justified fear, I think he'd be a really good winner pick. And if he is one of your guys' winner picks, I wouldn't blame you guys because
Maybe? I don't know.
I I I I I think it'd be a very funny winner. If this ends with a Pierre win and
We'll,
Kilby tries to bring this up in conversations like, who the fuck are you talking about? You never
we'll
played
decide once
Hypnotic
we
before.
get to the draft.
Word.
I would love to see, and hear me out here, a Mira Pierre alliance. Just the quality that he mentions, sorry. Yeah, that he mentions during like the hero villain answer. Where he's like a douchey hero, to quote the interview directly, who will go up against other douchebags. I think that that could be a really cool quality if we have some players who are kind of trying to run the house early on.
Hmm.
That can come across as a little bit like overstepping, I think, especially when it's early in a Big Brother game. And I think that Pierre could be the God, what's that like urban legend? Because I don't know if it was a real thing about the jester being the only one who's allowed to call out the king. I feel like he could be the jester. And I think that Mira person, just because I'm excited to see Mira, could leverage that to her advantage in the event that someone tries to take power early on.
Maybe.
That's my little harebrained theory.
Well,
I'm
here,
excited to see Pierre, and also if I were a semi-new player who had played with Pierre before, I would be so confused. So I just think it'd be really funny if someone's this would I barely know people's names as it is. So that would
guaranteed,
be really
guaranteed, we're
funny.
gonna get a message from Issa being like, "What's going on with Pierre?"
I'm sorry to all newbies, but this is gonna be so fun to watch.
Was I supposed to role play in this game? Is that how this works?
Oh, we're going by our made-up names.
And the only other thing I want to call out is in his responses to "Are you a social, strategic, or physical player?" He said, "I'm all three because I'm conceited."
Figured out where
And
you
then mentioned the whole thing
see
of like, and then mentioned the whole thing of like, oh, people call me super strategic, but then cry when they vote me out. That's awesome.
so
um,
excited.
I think Pierre could get villain of the season. Like Pierre, get like this character that's going on here.
Wait, quick petition. If Pierre does not end up winning hero or villain of the season, can we make a third option called Pierre of the season?
Yep.
Real
Yeah.
character of the season. No, I think that
He
That
got
and
caught.
now like just like reviewing his
and and it's not
answers.
even wait Pierre of
Sorry.
the season, but it's not even his like uh individual award that we give everyone. It's just like its own award.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We have like hero and villain, and
Is
then we
that his
rate them.
superlative? There's a Pierre of the
It's not
season.
the
Yeah, it's
supposed.
a
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
right.
Pierre of the season.
But no,
Anyway, what were
like
you gonna say, Jacob?
I'm like reviewing like all of like his answers, and I'm just like
yeah.
I forget how good it was. Like for what he'll bring to the season. I was like, there are game bots who aren't good with people, but I'm the archetype where if I went to a bar, I'd leave with 10 new friends. Like he's clearly very confident. He really hyped himself up as somebody who could do a lot of damage if people give him the opportunity to. So he's a guy that I'm kind of looking out for, to do really well this season. Because I just he speaks so confidently about himself that I'm just like I want to believe him too because this is amazing. Shit, for his application, he made me laugh. Like for his how would you get away with the murder? He's the only one that said like no. I'd confess to the crime, but I would convince people that it was a worthy cause. Like it was good that I murdered that person.
That's
It's like
amazing.
no, that's
I
hilarious. It's just
I also missed I'm a gaslighter slash emotional manipulator. I love when someone says that out loud.
This is
It's
a
just
gold
it's so
mine of an
fucking funny.
interview. I'm gonna be real here.
This is the Joker if the Joker didn't appeal to incels. Thanks for coming to TED
I'm
Talk.
I'm so intrigued to see how he keeps it up for the season. I'm intrigued to see if people are going to get sick of it. Um, but I kind of hope he at least makes it to Statue of Liberty.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's gonna make these like pizza references for some reason.
Oh, wait, hold
Oh
on.
my god.
Put that
all
big.
things like we saying all this, imagine like he drops it by like week two. Like imagine he's just like, nah, I'm fed up
No, no,
with
no,
this
no, no.
exit.
I
Or
need him. I need him to
That
win.
on its own would be funny,
I
no,
actually.
need him to
what
win HOH at least once.
I need him to, and just
And
have to host a Dom
the
ceremony.
whole
Just
week
coming
is
to
yeah, the whole week is his, and it's just
I want him to make a pizza and spell out the names of the nominees with pepperoni. That's what I want.
that's a lot of effort. But if anyone,
Somehow he's a Muppet to me. I don't know
Is he
how to
the
explain
one?
that. Like,
Shit.
if he
I
at
don't
one
know.
point shows up on camera and instead it's the Swedish chef, I would believe it. I would be like, yeah, this is just what's happening now. We have 15 real, actual human beings and one Muppet. And that's beautiful.
Beautiful. All right, we got to move on, or else we're going to talk about him for like 12 more hours. Our next player, who I think we were talking about before, Sanam. Because who mentioned they would be good with Issa? Yeah,
I did. Because that's why I thought Heather was referencing too. Because Heather, I mean, because Sam's also somebody's like, I want to play with the new people. I want to meet new people. Is probably one of the most genuinely enthusiastic to play games for the sole purpose of meeting new people and making new friends. So
honestly, now that I think about it, I could 100% see Issa, Jess, and Sanam being a trio.
I could potentially see that. Sam I played with at Olympic Games, adored her, loved her so much. She was a very loyal player. We had her at a final three with Denson, which I totally wasn't going to be loyal to. But like I appreciate the sentiment. You know, Sam was obviously a really big threat on that season, in a sea full of big threats. I hosted her in with her other season of Kaleidoscope where she was my winner pick. Um, obviously played a phenomenal social game. I think is working on her strategic game. She mentioned that as something that she's working on because that wasn't her strongest asset in Kaleidoscope. And I think while she had great ideas in Olympic Games, it's a matter of executing them and not deliberately looking suspicious or unreliable or like this half-assed player. Like I think like the ideas sometimes are half-baked. She didn't think all the semantics or the optics of a move thoroughly through. And therefore she goes through with a plan that's like, the fuck are you doing, Sam? I do see her just naturally going far, but I know that just like a lens, just like a mirror, the tendency to play multiple games at the same time. I think she's playing Bodo. I feel like no, she actually just got out of Bodo, actually.
Yeah.
I think she might be playing something else. I think maybe Persist the challenge. I think she
Yeah.
may be on the cast for that. Not entirely sure, but I don't think that's ever really deterred her too much. Like activity wise, I think she's gonna give it her all still here. And I think that considering that it's like balancing between like a challenge game and the Big Brother game, and I will give some grace to the other people because I think she's the last person who's on Bodo. There's five people here who are also playing Bodo or was on the cast for it.
Yeah.
Um, and like the challenge isn't as demanding socially because there's just so many people. There's more places to hide, so I'm not as scared of her being inactive as I am with some of the other people that we mentioned earlier. But I do think her loyalty will be her downfall. It will befall her. I know that's something that she said that she wants to work on and she knows will bite her in the ass, but the problem is I think is the type of person who will make that same decision a million times. Like if there's a choice between taking her final two, who's going to sweep the floor with her and commit to the 6-3
Six to
running
three.
gag every season, or take a go and win 9-0, she's going to take her ally every time. Like that's just the type of person she is. You
Well,
know,
because we
she's a
have to
sweetheart.
continue the trend. We can't have
Right, but like,
we can't have a 9-0 winner.
yeah, but also I want someone who like. I want good gameplay at the end of the day. And like obviously I want if there's a world where Sanam can win, I hope that Sanam takes it. But yeah, I'm just
I will
that's my
say,
natural worth.
I will say, I do feel like her strategic game was better than you're giving her credit for because like thinking back on it now, the way she was able to jump ship twice in the span of like 3 rounds, in the sense of like jumping ship to get Karen out, and then like very soon after that, immediately jumping ship to get me out. In the grand scheme of things, I think that was played pretty well. I know she caught a couple of votes on the way there and got very close to getting out. And if Nova knew what was going on, she would have gone down. I would have stayed, but that's besides the point. Uh, I think she's more strategic. Like she has a little bit more of a strategic mind that I think we're giving her credit for. I do sort of agree with what you're saying before about like the execution of some of her plans can sometimes be a little iffy. I think in this game where there is the potential for a lot of chaos and a lot of like the combination of like big personalities and then people that are just going to be like, you know, like throwing chaos like into the mix, whatever. If she can keep a level head about that and sort of like swerve through everything that's going on, I think she'll be in a good position um, going forward.
Um, I think she's gonna be like one.
Huh.
I think that like with her social prowess, I feel like she's gonna be in the middle. I feel like she's going to have like things go on around her. Um, that she's going to be stuck between two things.
And then if she wins HOH,
It might tank her game.
yeah, I can see it.
I can see her game being tanked simply because she will have good in with a lot of people, and that's gonna be the thing that affects everything.
Yeah.
That's where I meant like I can see her being kind of like one in that sense, where that's going to happen there. So yeah.
We'll see how that goes.
I think she can make final two because if you've noticed, you take her name and flip it backwards, it says Manas, like Nick Mana in season two.
It's all
That is so
connected.
dumb.
But no, I do kind of want to. Sorry, Liz, to cut you off. Liz, if you want to say your thing, you can, and then I'll interject
Oh,
with
I
my thing
was
afterwards.
okay, sure. Yeah, I was sorry. I was doing a bit. But also I realized I think after we already talked as a prod team to cast her, I realized that I'm actually playing a game with her because it's like this Friday the 13th game, which is a lot of fun. And it's very like it's kind of like a point and click adventure. It's not like a ton of like social maneuvering or manipulation. It's just sort of like I want to read a little fan fiction about me and a bunch of other people in Friday the 13th kind of
Sure.
thing. Super well done and a lot of fun. And we literally just started messaging because we were in the same location and like yapping and trying to kind of like stick together. And then I came back to review everyone's answers and I went, that username looks familiar. So I know that I get really good vibes from them in the other game that I'm in with them. They're very like open, very willing to work with people. Especially I think not a lot of people are like working together in that game, which is fair because it's like a completely different format. Um, but what I like is that she's really willing to collaborate on certain moves or like even just messages to other chats, which I think is a good indicator how quickly she like grabs onto that sort of format.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to see her play. I would love to see her at final two.
Manas. But no, I do want to piggyback off of something Alex mentioned earlier. Am I dogging her strategy a little bit? Yeah, I can agree to that. But here's the thing. I think those decisions she made, while impressive and obviously gave her tons of respect from the jury, I think long term. Like
Yeah.
what that basically did was that by going back to our side, a bunch of the people, not me, but others, were just like, I don't trust her. She burned my trust by getting rid of Karen. And then by doing that, by voting for no, being the only one to do so, she caught a bunch of she should have gone home. By all when you got sent home, she should not have survived that. And for her to have been voted off before other people who were very clearly against that side, I think short term it worked out for her. I understand the rationale afterwards, and she still was like voting off Karen was the best move for my game because I think the game became more fluid
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
But she got ninth in this world, and I think that I think foresight is an issue. I think she has. I think just thinking like short term versus long term. Short term, this is great because this is what I accomplished. This is who I get out. This is somebody who is not on my side, not in my corner, will take me out further down the road. But long term, will people still trust me after this point? I think one thing that I do respect and I do appreciate from All Stars is that I think she was willing to take more risks and think more outside the box, ergo making that big move against Karen. I don't think she was making a move like this in season 6, whereas, a couple seasons afterwards, she has learned. So she is growing, she is playing more strategically, and I think demonstrating more cutthroatedness, I suppose.
Yeah.
But I do kind of see that parallel that Heather was saying earlier of her being the one, this person that is very loved and adored by the cast and generally one of, if not the most trusted people there. But if she gets into power, that's when her strategy starts to falter because she now has to start putting up people that she had been saying, "Oh, I want to work with you. I fucks with you. I vibes with you. We're good." She has to show them that
We'll
she
see.
doesn't.
All right, next player, Scott.
You guys haven't that much to say about Scott.
I love Scott, the winner of Spellbound season 4.
If only.
Don't look it
My
up.
gosh. Don't look.
Don't look it up. No, Scott is a joy. I played Spellbound with him, and like immediate first call that we had, I was like, "Yep, I'm working with that guy. He's so good at talking to people and like making them feel heard and like having them leave whatever call they were on or whatever conversation they were having and just making them feel like that was a really good use of my time. I really enjoyed that. And I remember in that game they were very much a social threat in the sense of like everyone felt good with Scott because he's that good at talking to people. I don't know how everyone else was thinking about this point, but I was thinking like, okay, he's got to get taken out at like 5th place, or something like that. I cannot go to the end with this guy. I feel like a lot of other people were thinking that too, because if he didn't win that final immunity, he was not making it to the end. So I feel like that's one downside to his game. The other downside is, as people have said, like after the game, if he was like, okay, let me try rewording this. There we go. If he was good with you and like he considered you one of his closest allies, he would be like very invested in that relationship in the sense that like if he was feeling like paranoid about something, he would go to you as like the person that he trusts the most and be like, hey, let's talk this through, let's make sure we're situated and stuff like that. And that amount of talking to people can make it like make people like I don't want to say annoyed because that makes it feel like it's a bad thing, but in the sense of like this guy needs to calm down, like everything's fine, we're going to work things out there. So if he's able to get past that, like easy formidable threat, and he's proven he can win competitions as well, so I feel like he can pull those out when he needs to.
Yeah, I mean, I've only heard of him in a Survivor setting, so I think it's going to be interesting putting this into a Big Brother setting. I've not seen or heard really much about like how he does fare in Big Brother games. So I think that's going to be interesting to see how the social aspect, because with him being an insane social threat from what you say and everything, how that's going to be something to kind of help him in this situation, in this kind of setting where I feel like that can be, it can very much depend on the cast, and with this cast, it could be a more normal thing, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Liz, what are the vibes?
The vibes are good. Apparently I was taking notes for this interview, which I did not realize until one, I saw a quote from the answer for anything else we need to know before we cast you, where he just managed to render Alex speechless, which I thought was funny. Scott said, "I will walk out of a wedding to do a live night." and Alex said something to the effect of cool, and then moved on. So apparently I was taking notes,
I think
which was
I think it's because
also
he's got something going on this weekend,
mhm.
like the start of the weekend, and he was like, "But don't worry, I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be present." I was like,
Oh yeah, it was. I remember this now. But it took that to jog my memory, and then at the end of a different line, I just wrote Liz note. I like him, so I like him. The vibes are good.
perfect.
Yeah, excited to see him play, and that's all I got.
Jacob, how was he from a hosting standpoint?
Dude, he was super fun to host. He was my winner pick. What I try to do whenever I'm hosting something, I'm trying to look at like the most recent seasons, whether they just finished or they're about to wrap up. You know, like CTC Distortion. I look at some of the other games that I recently hosted, and wrapped up. And I looked at the whole CTC cast the season he was on. I was like, him, that one. Just a vibe. It's just a hunch. I'm just like, I think he's gonna be fun to host, and he was my winner pick, and he showed up. He played a phenomenal game in Spellbound Season 4. Great socially. I think a great idea strategically. Not a slouch. Won the most pivotal, most crucial immunity challenge of the season. He has to win this. He likely goes home. I thought it was the favorite to win. Obviously, wasn't. He wasn't able to pull that off, unfortunately. Although most people postseason would say
He should have won.
he should have won. Yes. But unfortunately that's not how this works. I really Scott's positioning was so good. The first tribal, everyone's name came up, whether it be legitimately as a decoy vote, except for Scott's. Not a single person was like not even throwing Scott's name into the atmosphere. Yet he was the most paranoid and most nervous. I'm like, oh, what if it's me? What if I'm being lied to? I'm like, Scott, literally everyone's telling you everything
Right, yeah.
you're being told. So obviously getting over his nerves, that's going to be an obstacle for him. Obviously, also a very emotional player. And one thing an issue he ran into in Spellbound was people thinking he was doing this for strategy. That's just who he is. Like I think he's just a very
Yeah.
well-intending, well-meaning guy, and who wears emotions on his sleeve. Wasn't at least not in Spellbound. Obviously, I don't know what the fuck he does in other games. I didn't see him using this as strategy. Like he wasn't deliberately acting or playing this up, I do think that Yasli has the chops to win. Don't know if he's my winner pick here in this cast of people. Interested to see how well he does in Big Brother. But fittingly enough, I think after Spellbound, the next game he plays is 1984. He makes it to Final Two there as well. But
Jeez. Yeah.
not with as much of win equity as it seems as he had here in Spellbound. He gets second again. He takes his closest ally and I think gets maybe one or two votes.
So maybe this
So clearly he
maybe this
knows
is
how
the
to get to
game.
the end.
Maybe this is the game he pulls it off on.
Word, maybe this is the game. I really hope so because obviously huge fan of him, love him. He also very similar to Sanam. I think genuinely wants to be there to make friends and forge some connections and has stayed close in touch with a bunch of people, or at least tried to. I know for me, for sure, me and him were talking back and forth post Spellbound. So I don't know. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah, no, me too, for sure. All right. Our next player, our second to last player in this cast, it's your boy Shane. Actually,
Okay.
you want to start off with this one?
So I did Shane's interview. I think I probably have the most to say because I also forgot to write notes about the interview. But
Whoops.
that's because I am bad at multitasking with that.
I
Um,
was so confused.
so with I did put the video on the Google Drive though,
Right.
so it was accessible to
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
guys. So Shane has been very like pleasant in the like text of the like trying to set things up and everything. When talking to him, he was very delightful. Said that he had played a game, only one other online game, uh, which he ended up not being able to finish the game because of personal matters, which is very understandable. Like life comes before it works always. But from what he was saying and what the prod team told him is that he was on track to be basically be winning that season. So it was something where him taking himself out of the game uh, may have shifted a lot of things that happened within that game. So if that is like something to see, like how he does fare in this game, I can't remember if he said that it was a Big Brother game or a Survivor game that he played, but like it's just he seems to be a very good strategic mind and social mind. I don't know as much physically, but I think it's going to be interesting to see more the strategy side from Shane, especially saying how he seemed to have been good with a lot of people in his previous org.
Yeah. My take is that Shane seems very sweet.
Yes.
Like just a good guy. We've never had this happen before. But fun fact for anyone who's watching, I guess. We sent Shane his message of, hey, we'd like to offer you a spot on the cast, and then we didn't hear from him for like 2 days, and we were like a little concerned about that because he seemed, to be responding to us about like the interviews like in a pretty timely fashion. So
To be fair, he was one of the very first interviews. I think maybe
Yes.
the first. So it's been a long time
Right.
since the interview
Right.
too when it was accepted.
But then so I reached out to him like in the DMs and was like, hey, we check your prod chat, and he was like, oh, sorry, I didn't respond because I was drafting a response for you guys. And I was like, that is so sweet. We just needed a yes or a no. But he seemed just like thankful that we would like give him this spot, and of course we would give him this spot. He's a little wish ball. In the sense of a game, I'm I feel like he's going to be like the antithesis to these people that we've talked about earlier. We're just going to like call people out when they like try to pull a fast one on someone. And meanwhile, Shane's is gonna be like, "It's okay. We're all trying to play the game. It's all right." He's gonna be like the the light in the chaos that's gonna go on. I mentioned this with other people. How is he going to act when he gets a role? Not really sure. I feel like he might be one of those players that like tries to do something, but it doesn't really work out, and he kind of gets caught. Uh, so I don't really know how that's going to work out for him. It would be very interesting if he does end up becoming the murderer and is able to pull it off, because then that would give him a nice little power, and it'd be interesting to see how he handles that as well. I think overall, uh, he's up there with my players in this cast that I'm most interested to see how he plays with everyone else. Yeah,
Vibes are good.
and the vibes are good. Is that
No
Vibes
notes.
are good.
10 out of
No
10.
notes.
no
I'm
notes? Ten
excited
out
to
of 10. Do it
see.
again.
I love when a little sweetie pie is in our game. I mean, last season I don't know if we had any, but this season I'm excited to see some sweetie pies.
We
Um,
definitely did not have any
we did
last.
not have
Season
any
four
sweetie
had
pies.
Season 4 had Chaos Gremlins and Insane People.
We had different flavored pies. We had like
Season
pumpkin
4 had
pie, but like it
cacti.
wasn't that sweet. You know
The
what I'm
closest
saying?
was
Like,
Jessie, but Jessie did get into her fair share of like I'm gonna target you sort of deals.
Season 4 we had a lot of cacti. And Shane does not seem like cacti. Shane seems like a
That's a
sweetie
great
pie, so I can't wait. Yeah, that's all I got to be honest.
Jacob.
what interesting thing here is that I think he's going to be a wolf in sheep's clothing, if he plays his cards right. Because I watched the video as like, oh, like he's an actor, so like he's used to playing up a character. He's used to try to like concealing his emotions and trying to play up to someone's potentially ego maybe in the game. I could see him being on the opposite side of Issa. I'm worried about Issa having the killer instinct. I'm worried about them being able to enact a plan to think at the same level or at the caliber of other players are thinking strategically. Shane is not the worry. That I don't have that concern with Shane. I think Shane actually is set up to do really well. I think he has the air of being new that may make obviously him connecting with people a bit rough, just due to the fact that there's, I think, a lot of pre-existing relationships coming into the season. But I think that this is a very newbie-friendly cast. I think
Yeah.
he's going to find himself in a pretty good spot, and I think he'll actually have the wherewithal to do what he needs to do to advance the game. He's actually honestly one of my top contenders to take the whole thing. I think Shane. I was really impressed by his interview. Obviously, I wasn't there for it, and I don't have notes to listen back to. You know, like it's fine.
You
It's great. I
can
watched it.
listen back to it. You just
Yeah,
can't
there you
read
go.
about it.
Whatever.
It
Anyway,
was
but
very-
no, like
I
I
was too in depth with the interview to write out those notes.
Too entranced with Shane.
you were having a conversation with him. You weren't having an interview with me.
Oh my gosh.
But
Oh,
no, like it was a fun time. I did love Shane's interview, and I'm always excited to see it, someone newer, you know, try their hands at games. And
yeah.
but he could have convinced me he'd been playing this shit for years, because I think maybe in a different format and maybe different platform, maybe he played a couple more. I don't remember that vividly. Maybe I'm just imagining things, but I'm just like, he doesn't seem like a rookie. Just the way he
Oh,
was able to
yeah.
articulate his strategy, like clearly he's been thinking about this for a minute. So maybe
No.
this is the game where it's like what that other game could have been.
Also,
I have confidence.
hear me out because we mentioned he was an actor. What if he has one conversation with Pierre and that convinces him to put on a persona of his own?
Please don't.
I
I
hope it's
hope
the
not.
first. I hope Pierre messages Shane first, and so we just get the whole game with a brand new Shane persona.
No,
I'd be into it.
one thing I don't want for not that like I think this will happen, but I will be pissed for Shade if someone just keeps getting hung up on the fact that he's an actor. And it's like, oh, he's an actor. He acted. He pretended to be. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I'm like, he's not acting 24/7, like just because that's what he does in his free time. Do I think that skill will come out during the game at some point?
Yeah.
Yes, but
I feel
like.
like the other theater kids
Like,
must stand up for him if that
Like,
happens.
come on. I'm like, dude, this is stupid. I'm just like, no, look at him. He acted offended. He wasn't actually. He knew what was going on the whole
He
time. Like, shut up.
knew the whole time. Okay, well,
Shut up.
again, there's like 12 musical theater people in any
Word.
given cast, so they're all actors. So
So it's even worse. So if that happens again, I'd be even more pissed, if, especially if this cast
no,
says that. But
I don't think it's gonna happen, and if it does, I will be very upset.
speaking of upset and speaking of pissed, we move on to our final player.
What?
Obviously Liz has played before. None of me, Alex or Heather have played. Lord knows I've tried to drop from prod to play, but
And you're still
we
here, buddy. But and speaking of all that, we got Zach.
mind you, y'all let Zach play before y'all let me play. That's fucking insane.
we got Zach playing Hypnotic before GTA 6. Okay, no. This whole scenario is so funny. For real though, I love Zach. He's a great guy. Was a prod member of Hypnotic for seasons 1 and 2. So that being said, he admittedly goes into the game with a little bit more of an advantage than other people, but only in the sense of like he might have an idea of what competitions to expect. Does that mean he'll perform well in those competitions? I really don't know. I think it would just like come down to like
To be
What
fair,
it
we
depends on.
had because with seasons 3 and 4, we did add quite a few new competitions, and on
That's
top of that, like we do have some newer competitions this season too. Uh, he'll definitely be able to probably predict the first one. But the first one, that doesn't really give him that much of an advantage. I think the advantage he gets is that he'll know how it works. But then again, I think other people could also have that advantage from just knowing people who have played before.
yeah. Remember Chris Ocker.
Chris Ocker just predicted the entire season.
Yeah. So like.
It's operating on another level.
So like whatever. Zach's gonna be a chaos gremlin in the best way possible. I feel like. I feel like he does his best in these games when he is able to assess the situation and then bring chaos and then conceal himself within it. And I feel like he will have the ability to do that. Um, what I have seen happen to Zach in games before is he'll take them very seriously to the point where if something's happening that doesn't go his way, um, like it won't be handled in the best way possible, and that could like sour his opinion in the cast. I've seen him go through games without doing this, so it's not like that this happens like constantly or anything like that. It's just enough to the point where it's like I know it could happen. I'm hoping it doesn't. Although with this cast, it would be very interesting um, to, I guess, not see it happen because I'm not hoping for like a big flame out or anything like that. What I am hoping for is honestly he'll be one of the people that can call people out. So I know there's at least a few other people that can do that. As long as they all get on the same page, I think that's going to be like a formidable force.
Yeah, I've spoken.
You spoken?
Yeah, I've spoken in my piece.
Hell yeah.
The
Hell yeah.
advantage stuff, but
Oh yeah. No,
Oh.
you're right about
Li-
that.
Liz vibes.
Oh shit, I froze for me.
Vibes. Yeah.
Well, he said for what brings you here to be hypnotic, he said Liz, so I hope
That's
I do
right.
okay.
I think after Liz it says JK. 'Cause it's just
Yeah. It says Liz, JK, Caleb, JK, flopped my last game and was bored. Uh,
Oh, he was another
I
player.
love
He was
like
another player that
half
fired
of
me
his
up.
answers start with a joke answer. Like,
Yeah.
what's your least favorite type of player to play or work with? It says Alex, JK, straight white men, JK.
He's not kidding
Uh,
about the straight white men thing. I know that.
yeah.
Are you best socially, strategically, or physically? Physically, JK.
And
You know,
Zach, and Zach was another player that was in the Spellbound hypnotic crossover mini.
Yeah, I definitely
and he was
remember
first boot. No, second
that.
boot.
He
Second,
was second boot. Caleb
second
was
boot.
first boot, which is a
Yeah.
scenario we never.
It's just crazy.
I remember someone being kind of volatile after the fact of the crossover, so
It was Zach.
yeah, I thought so.
Because he got into it with somebody who said like, "Oh, I wouldn't want to fucking play with
Oh
Zach."
yeah.
Yeah, which
Which,
on its own, that's an insane thing to say in the chat, like immediately after. He was like second boot, and this person was like, I simply would not want to play with him. Like,
Yeah, that was a
all
little
right. It
interesting.
was it seemed like kind of they were trying to bait him intentionally, and he sort of took that. So I'm interested to see how that sort of quality plays out in the game that he used to host, which is going to be, I think if anyone is going to kind of be an interesting.
There could be some people that don't know that he was a host as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
but
I was about to say that could be an unknown. I think
oh yeah, no, but like he knows is what I'm saying.
Right.
like maybe Cam might
Mhm.
know, but I think that's it. I think that might just spread just as common knowledge, like just throughout the
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
I've seen him at his peak. I've hosted him in Spellbound when he made Final Two. I think that's the best he's ever done in a game up until this point, and still to this day. And I've seen him make it to Final Four in our season together in EXP, where if he makes it through and the winner goes instead of him, then there's a really good chance he ends up winning that season. He votes off Trevor there. I think he could be an org winner. Um, so obviously a lot of people see the, like Alex said, like him reacting when things don't go his way and acting very aversively. Like a lot of people think of that when they first think of Zach. Obviously, to Alex's point earlier, he wasn't really like that in Spellbone, which graded he, for the most part, almost always got his way, which obviously could play a factor into things. That's what I'm worried for. I'm worried for these first couple weeks. I think these first 3 weeks, I think, are going to be really indicative of where Zach is going in this game. If he is not doing the best socially, if he gets into it with somebody very early on, is very annoyed by an outcome, he does not make that, he wears it on his sleeve, I think he's not going to go far in this game. If he's doing decently well, even decently well, and linking up with some of these other power players in the game, I think he could have a deep run in him. Obviously, I'm worried because obviously there was that interaction in the VL after the mini. But I don't think that's the only person who seeing Zach on the cast may be like, oh, like
Mhm.
like I am worried about that. Some
Sure.
people may seeing him announced last person left on the cast, House Guest 16, Zach Shelley. some
But
people may
in the
not be so
in the
pleased.
grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
that doesn't really matter as much as it does with the people that are in the cast.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. People in the cast may think that. Like I could
Mhm.
see a couple people who are familiar with him. Not that many who know exactly who he is and what his reputation is. And some people who may not know may have be friends with people or may have house like prod guests that may forewarn them. It's like, oh, Zach is he's this, he's that, he's emotional, this, that, and the third.
Mhm.
I think that Zach has more potential than maybe some people may be led to believe
Yeah.
upon first watch. Is there a world where like he could be first boot? Yes. But if I were on this cast, like I would take any type of information, any type of intel on how this game works. Yeah, I'd run with it. I'm like, shit, that could be an asset, that could be a tool. I'd advertise it,
I
to
thought,
be
I thought
honest.
you were about to say if I was on this cast, then I would be first boot.
No, I mean, probably. But like I would take this. Like
Yeah.
Zach knows a thing or two about Hypnotic. They know something about some of the competitions because there are some recurring things. Like the first HOH, he's gonna know what the fuck this is. Like
Yeah.
he's gonna be like, okay, we all know what the fuck this is. This is on every season. Like this is essentially how it works and breaks it down for people. I think that could be very useful for some people, especially some of the like the newbies and some of the people at least new, whether it be to the Big Brother format or just games in general.
Mhm.
I hope he does well. I hope he stirs up some chaos, but not like icky chaos, like
Right.
fun chaos, you know?
I could see fun chaos. I want to point out really quickly that he looks like a mutual friend of mine and Alex's in this particular picture in the face. Doesn't he look kind of like Corey of SDS fame? A little bit.
I don't see it. I'm really
From
sorry.
Corey in the
Him.
house.
Corey, he was not in the house in
He
this.
was in the theater.
I
He wasn't in a
You're gonna have to
house.
like
He's
pull up a
homeless.
picture and then like show it to me later because I don't see it personally. Well, wait, hold on.
If Corey was doing a face like one of these like kind of like faces is what I
Yeah,
see.
hmm. I'll have to ponder on that. Um,
Um,
okay.
we've got to ponder, guys.
Yeah. All right. That is our cast for season 5. I'm excited for none of the things that we say to actually happen. And yeah, very interested to see how this all plays out. If you
Can't
are,
wait to be
again,
completely
if you're
wrong.
seeing this, the season is already over, so roast us in the comments or something.
Hey, yeah, especially roast us. They are going to roast us because we did not stick to that 5 minute like
We
limit
did
that
not.
we.
I had the timer going, but then I was just like, eh.
I was gonna ask halfway through. I was like, I feel like we're not adhering to the rules, but you know what? It's fun.
Mind you, if we
So
were, we'd be done an hour ago. Because it would have been 80 minutes
yeah, that's
talking
actually
about
We
each
like
player.
talking.
yeah,
And
Alex.
we like talking, and that's okay.
Damn it.
We
All
just
right.
Look,
like it.
because it started with the worst person possible for us to actually adhere to this rule. Because
So,
I definitely was not
yeah.
going to
Poor
spend only
Jacob.
5 minutes.
Right. The 5 minute rule is for Jacob, but
But
all
yeah,
right.
super. But
Anyway, see you guys later.
good luck, y'all.
Bye.